Average, yeah.
I was like, we'll see. I was like, real. It was like right now, you mentioning to me, I would tell you, if you want to get a laptop, I would tell you that I would want all A's from you, but I can maybe work with A's, B's. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
Right.
But I'm also planning on. I do have to build a new computer. Just because I can't just upgrade. I'm at the point where I can't upgrade my parts. There's no further up for me to go. In order for me to upgrade, I have to get a new motherboard. I have to move over because I'm on AM4. I have to move to AM5. So what I think I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna make my main PC the living room PC, and then I'm just gonna go full AMD. So and I priced it out already. I'm looking at about 16 for comparable, but it's a pretty goddamn solid build. So
okay, that's not bad.
Newest processor that I can get. Well, no, I think I'm going with the 7000 because I still want a 12 core, 24 thread processor. So I think I went with a 7900.
Nice.
Ryzen 7900.
Yep.
I think I did the. I can't remember which graphics card I was looking at. Either way, it's down the road. That might change. So just trying to figure all that stuff out. But
I didn't get to tell you too. I got the confirmation from that HP deal, right? The HP, those two laptops. I was gonna flip, and then I got the cancellation email. So I got the confirmation.
So it wasn't real.
And then I got the
So it wasn't real. Was it official?
No, it was. I got the official cancellation notice yesterday or the day before through email saying, "Oh, there was a mistake on our online pricing, so we've canceled your order."
Lord, nah, the consumer's always right, sitting there.
Oh, I know, bro.
That's the price.
It should be. It should make it that way. I've always argued that's bullshit. Like if
it is, no, it's
or your system screws up,
you gotta honor it. Yeah, you gotta honor.
Yep, you took my money. It was a contract made, and you should honor it.
Yeah, especially if they take the money. Yeah, it's too late, bro.
Yeah,
no,
they took the money. Yeah,
go ahead and send that.
Yep.
That's your $600 loss.
Yeah. It was good though. Man. It was a try. I never get on those deals. I was just happy to get in on it. Like I said, I normally miss them, and I was like, oh shit, I actually grabbed a couple. Let's go. But it wasn't meant to be, bro.
That's fucking unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Sorry for the late start. You get the smelly steel today. I'm gonna take a shout out after the show. Just getting in from work, so it's gonna be fun. Luckily, I don't smell. Like I'm not the. Maybe my feet.
Good thing we haven't got the smell-o-vision yet on people.
Get the smell-o-vision going.
PC, yeah, smell-o-vision.
You smelling me through the screen? Nah, I gotta leave that for the wife. Only the wife can smell me through in real life. What? I said only you can smell me in real life. Oh God. Crow, what's happening? He says, dang, still you good in gears. Crow, don't get me started, bro. No, I'm not. I'm fucking garbage, bro. Yes, I am ass. Bro,
you're rusty. You're rusty, but
no, Russ doesn't even. Bro, I'm gonna get into a dialogue, but I'm gonna have a slight diatribe
because I guarantee you're still top 5%.
I gotta get into a little. When I get into what I've been playing, I'll get into a little bit of a dialogue about it. Maybe we'll have a back and forth about Gears as well, because there has been some interesting conversations. I heard you on Thursday say, "Hey man, not all games need to be modernized." No. I do agree on one end for sure, but the only pushback that I would have on that is for the ramp up to E-Day, I did want to see the coalition get more involved community-wise, because that is what's going to help build up the hype for E-Day. Because E-Day is going to have the multiplayer, so it's like, hey, you need to get as many ideas as possible for what people are looking for, so you guys know that you're moving in the right direction. Because this has been a hard point for you guys, especially since you've taken over the mantle, especially after Gears 3. This has been a hard point for you guys. So it's like, I wanted you to get a little bit more involved, right? So like how people are complaining about the shotgun right now, again, I'll get into it more. To me, you ask me, I feel like it feels like the same way it did back in the day. I know they tuned it. I know they changed it. So you can say, Steel, that's not true. I get you. I've seen the evidence. I know that they changed the spread on it. Yes, it's not the same. But from my memory, you can just call me Old Steel if anything. It feels exactly how I remember. The Gears 1 shotgun was broke. It was like that. You up close, you're getting smacked. Sometimes you get two tapped. Actives were always a problem. That's why when we got into like when we were in browser and server browser, you were joining people's lobbies and shit. If you were using actives, people could tell and you were going to get clowned on. Because then it turned into all right, you think you so nice using all them actives 1v1 me then. And then if you say no actives.
Steel was in a whole different world.
Oh, we were in a whole.
Than I ever.
Bro, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into it. We'll get into
heavy in Gears, but I was.
Bro,
I never heard any of that stupid conversation.
Bro.
We were using actives all the damn time, bro.
Nah, we used to. And we did, like, when we went online and everything, of course, you doing what everybody else is doing. But when we're playing in private, when we're playing a private lobby, server browser, whatever the case, it's kind of like Battlefield in that way. Right? Server browser set up a certain way. You got certain rules or whatever that are different from traditional. It's kind of the same thing. I tell you, again, I want to get into some stories about it just to kind of give people where I come from in Gears, right? Because shout out to the homie, I won't consider him a homie because I don't know him like that. But shout out to the dude of Vexies, who's probably the nicest Gears player that I know right now, or have seen most consistent. The dude is a fucking monster. Like every time that I watch him play, he reminds me of how we used to get down. Type shit. So, but I want to give us some stories just because Gears Reloaded being back, it is extremely exciting. It is in my multiplayer rotation right now, along maybe with some other things. But as far as the gameplay goes, Crow, I would consider this because I did a couple things. One, I changed my control scheme. I have been playing on default controls. I mean, of course, sensitivity on max, but I've been playing on default controls where the A button does everything, slide, roll, run, all that, for 15 plus years. Yeah. So I have all of this muscle memory that I am now adjusting because I'm using alternate controls, because one of the number one complaints about Gears is, especially for when you start getting up there in skill, is you bouncing from walls and accidentally rolling, right? That's always been a thing. In all Gears, you have this thing, right? Now, back in the day, there wasn't I'm pretty sure the option was still there, but back in the day, there wasn't I'm going to change my control scheme. Nah, back in the day on that 360 controller, it was stop pressing A so goddamn much. You know what I'm saying? Actually think about what you're doing. So I'm playing with alternate controls now. It separates it out to where you can only, you slide to the walls and stuff with A, but to roadie run, it's X.
Oh, okay.
It's weird. I'm still getting used to it. It's been getting me smacked the fuck up for sure. So the gameplay that y'all gonna see today, consider this very average Steel, extremely average. I'm talking about like this is as old man Steel as you can get. It's frustrating as hell to me. I'll get more into it about why. Again, your own expectations for games. I think this gives a perfect opportunity to give y'all a perspective of where I kind of came from before I jumped into this community, how I look at games, why I'm so over the moon with multiplayer as well, because we were kind of like this with Halo too, with Halo as well. So I think it's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna have a fun show. We are gonna have a shorter show today, ending in at 12. So if we end up getting into a couple topics, great. Yep. If we don't, hey, we're catching up. We're having a good time. Lots to get into. Lots of fun to be had, and we'll get into it from there. Sith with the 2 bones came in. He says, what is Sony porting next to Xbox? Spider-Man. I think it's either going to be Spider-Man or Returnal.
Spidey.
I say Returnal because of Returnal's low sales on PlayStation. And I think it's one of the easier games to port to Xbox as well because of the co-op aspect, right?
Days Gone as well.
Ooh, Days Gone, maybe. Days Gone, maybe. I can see Days Gone. I can see that. Maybe why not? Why not take advantage of some additional sales on that game, right? Yeah. Again, the game sold decently for what it was. So it's like, do I see them doing that, though, in the immediate term? I don't know. But I definitely see Spider-Man. I definitely see Returnal, especially with the new game coming out from Housemarque. It could be a way PlayStation seeing, like, let's entice some folks with doing it this way. Crow says, I'm not even going to attempt multiplayer. I'm trash. Hey, at least you can admit that. There's a lot of people that I've seen that say they play multiplayer and they can't hold their own, right? I have people that I worked with, right? They're like, oh yeah, I play Gears multiplayer. You get into the lobby with them and at the bottom of the list. You're like, bro, you're kind of dragging us right now. Like, you're not even downing people. Like, you're not using the Lancer, not pistoling nobody. You're not even getting any shots off with a boom. Like, what's happening, bro? Thought you were decent. But again, it could just be my version of decent, maybe just very well different. So, and it's very noticeable in Gears. Very, very noticeable. Parasite, it's living split screen time. Yes, it is. Returnal says it has DualSense support. Squirrel Crow says Returnal has DualSense support on PC. It better be there, in my opinion. Hey, maybe we'll see. Well, if you don't know, maybe you're new here. Welcome to Living Split Screen, a non-console centric platform talking about everything going on within the gaming industry, at least most times. Here as of late, I would say we are more so getting into what we got going on a week-to-week basis, catching up, playing a lot of catch-up as we been having to do, right? Real life is always going to be of main priority. So anytime that you can get gameplay from me and Paul doing co-op or whatever else the case might be, again, I'll tell you right now, when Battlefield 6 drops, you probably gonna get some Saturdays in there where we playing Battlefield. I might tell y'all, I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe it's gonna be 2 times out of the month where a Saturday you're gonna pull up and we playing Battlefield. We playing games. So I'm still trying to debate if I want to do something similar for Gears. I know I had that idea before where I wanted to kind of do like a community game night kind of thing, but we'll see. We'll see. I think it'll be cool, especially ramping up the Reloaded. I think it'll be super fire to kind of have that as an ongoing thing. Again, especially with how I'm feeling about Gears. I didn't think I was going to be oh, hi, like I really want to play this right now, like a lot over everything else that I got. So, but nonetheless, living split screen, non-console centric. We believe in that RTS view. That's real-time strategy. We'll pull ourselves out of the world. Look at the darker crevices of that map, pull our resources together so we can not only build up our own foundation, but also the foundation for the potential 2 to 3 billion gamers that are out there. Additionally, this is also the home of that ECP. That's that educated consumer perspective. What does that mean? It just means me and Pong do not work in the gaming industry. We are consumers first, more than anything, but we do bring our professional knowledge, business-wise, job-wise, whatever the case, to the table, along with our gaming experience. I mean, at this point, we got over a few decades of gaming experience, at least, to the table, play a little armchair CEO, maybe have some fun conversations about what the industry's got going on. And again, what better time to have these types of conversations and just have fun, right? Get the chat involved mainly, week-to-week basis. If you want to chat, if you want to come somewhere where you're going to get some chat engagement, definitely come check us out here on Live a Split Screen. And other than that, I am one of your hosts, Steel Rain. That T is a 7 everywhere if you want to follow me. But before I get into what I've been playing and what I've been into this week, I got to introduce the Uncanny Gentleman himself, the X-Man that is not Cyclops. And I was able to prove give Pong some proof that Jean Grey was real.
Proof of life. Proof of life.
I thought that was funny. If you guys don't know, there is AI of people. There's people out there that are creating cosplay AI, that are the females or whatever. Of course. Trying, just looking good, getting people's attention, making money. However, hey, people are creative. It is what it is. I said what Paul was like, nah, man, it's AI. I had to send him some bread. It's funny because it popped up literally yesterday or last night when I saw it. Yeah. I was like, Paul, I guess it's real. Because I was like, bro, I don't know. I thought it was real.
She uses heavy filters, bro.
No, she does. No, they do. Yeah, no, 100%.
It was like
100%.
Bro, it just had that uncanny feel to it, man. So that's why. Pun intended.
But anyway, the Uncanny Gentleman himself, the X-Men that is not a Cyclops, but he is with Jean Grey in the closet. Matter of fact, he took it to the master bedroom. My fault. Don't want to disrespect my brother from another. My guy, my confidant, the one and only Uncanny Gentleman. Pong! So, what's going on, brother, man? How you feeling? And, yeah, man, what's up?
Great to be back. Great to be back on a Saturday. morning, even if we got to cut a little short today. It's been great. Busy weekend and month, obviously. Allergies are back because change of the season. That's when you know it's fall time, man. Right on schedule. Right on freaking schedule, man. So, yeah. I'm in the midst of nothing but busy life and very little video game playing. So I'm going to give Steel plenty of room here. And I guess we can have a little discussion about Gears because I did get into some matches of Gears and got in a little bit of campaign of Gears this week. And that's pretty much it, outside of, Assassin's Creed Syndicate and shit here and there, whatever. But I did get in some Gears. So I guess we'll just start there, man. Yeah, Gears Reloaded. Again, I was not Steel in any way, shape, or form back in the day, but I did play a lot of Gears multiplayer, right? So, and I was halfway decent back in the day. Again, raising a family, so I didn't have all the time in the world, but I still got my time in, and I was okay, right? I was okay. Man, Steel's talking about his rust. Yo, my rust, along with my age factor at this point, losing some of that reflexes. Yeah, man, it's rough. Now, again, I'm not gonna go into ranked. I'm not gonna do any of that bullshit.
Well, they don't really have ranked like that. I mean, they got execution, they got 2v2s, but it's nothing.
They
like
got ranked though, don't they?
But it's not. They only got a couple modes in there.
It's only a couple modes in there. Yeah. So anyway, so just just hopping in. First match, yo. Fish out of water. Doesn't even describe it. Fish out of water does not. I am like, what is going on? Everybody else felt like they had never stopped playing Gears. I was like, yo, what is going on? First match, I was even finishing below a PlayStation dude. I was like, okay, all right. Cool. So got a couple more rounds in and got better. And like Steel said, a lot of it is muscle memory. A lot of it starts coming back. But again, I'm not going to put the time into it to get good like that. But I will say this, it's wild how many people are already criticizing this game and already criticizing that this needs to be fixed and all the,
I saw people talking about the numbers about it. Like, I'm like, bro, what are we doing, dog?
Enjoy this game. This version was just brought to life to get the PlayStation people engaged with Gears of War. That's it. Again, this version's been around. Yes, they changed the Nasher, right? They made it even more OP than it once was. Okay, cool. But what are we doing? Again, this is not like the be all end all Gears here. We're gonna get Gears E-Day next year. And they're going to have a new multiplayer mode, and it's going to be different, and it's going to be something new, and everybody's going to be playing that. This is just to get some nostalgia back for those of us who have been Gears heads for a long time and to help the PlayStation community get familiar. That's all this is.
Look, Paul,
enjoy it.
What I've been comparing it to is this is exactly the same thing that they did with Ultimate Edition the first time. They released Ultimate Edition first, and then Gears 4 came out that next year. They're doing the same thing with E-Day. When Ultimate Edition came out back then, people weren't like, oh man, why didn't they do? Yeah, people wanted that, right? They wanted some certain changes, but it was to get people back acclimated because, again, to familiarize yourself with the game from 06. You know what I'm saying? Right. Get a modern version of it. It's looking good. Hey, now you're familiar. Boom, now we're going to give you Gears 4, right? You saw how things went. I think it did pretty well for Gears 4. I think people were on board. Again, whether, regardless of how you feel about the story, one way or the other, of course, by comparison, that is very drastic to go from Gears 1 to then Gears 4, which was like, it is, and I do agree with Pong on that. It is literally a night and day difference. Color palette, how the story's treated, all of that. It's night and day. And I see people complaining about that now with Gears. Ooh, they made it brighter. They made Gears 1 even bright. I'm like, no. So they can't update the lighting, bro. Like, oh, see, the coalition doesn't understand. They made Gears 1 a bright game. It wasn't like that back in the day. Like, bro, like you were also on old ass technology back in the day. They were working with what they had. Like the game just ended up being dark. I like being able to see sometimes, right? So, but anyway,
just again. My point being is just kick back, enjoy the ride. If the multiplayer isn't yours,
drop off
to go play. It's like the people that are jumping in to play Battlefield 2042, just to try to get the skins and bitching nonstop.
Yeah.
Bro, why? Okay, if you're just going to jump into the skins, jump in and get the skins and get out, right? But you don't need, everybody knows 2042 wasn't a lot of people's thing. Again, Gears 1 unchanged or, slightly changed is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. It's just not. It is going to play like the game it is from the year that it was created. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So what, again, this isn't the be all end all. We're getting a new one next year, modernized. We're going to have all different shit. You guys will have a whole new slew of things to complain about next year's multiplayer and E-Day, just like you have with every other Gears of War. It is what it is. Just sit back and enjoy the nostalgia. Again, for me, that's the thing, Steel. Hopping in, as terrible as I've been, or halfway decent, just whatever, just at least being able to kill a few people, right? Each match, whatever. Just getting to the maps again.
Oh, yeah, it's a good feeling.
Just a smile, bro, and a smile, and to see, the PlayStation people jumping in. Every match that I was in had multiple PlayStation people in it, so I know they're playing. And it was just dope to see. And it was the maps, just, again, you just remember the maps and watching people get hit by the train. Like,
it's so funny. It's still so fucking funny. That shit never gets old.
People try to peek their head just enough above the stairs, right? And they just get run over, bro. It's just classic. It just feels good. And it put a smile on my face, right? I'm not getting upset because I'm not trying to be sweaty. I'm not going to try to go back to relive my best days as a Gears of War player or anything. Yeah. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just having fun in here. And it gave me that. And
that's good.
Going into the campaign, again, and people talking about the campaign. Like,
what were they saying about the campaign?
Bro, wow.
I know some people say that it hasn't aged well. And I was like, I don't know about that, bro.
It's again, a lot of it is Sony guys. A lot of it is these guys who literally, I think, started playing during the PlayStation 4 generation.
Mm-hmm.
That now want to talk like they've been playing for decades. Like, yeah, Gears was never, again, Gears is a better story than people give it credit for.
It is.
1000%. Was it like peak writing back then?
No.
No. If we're going to put that next to Mass Effect, no, you're not going to put that next to Mass Effect. Of course not. It's not like that. But for what type of game it was, and for being a dude bro shooter type game, the story is actually good. And obviously, as they went along, 2 and 3 even had more emotional parts to it.
Really good.
So, but I started the campaign again. And there is no loading whatsoever, which is fantastic between areas, which is really weird because you get so used to it still, and you expect the load screen with the Gears symbol to pop up with that music, and it's not there. And it's like
you just load it, you just go into the next area.
Right into the next scene, right? I'm like, holy shit. But my gosh, no matter how many times I restart that campaign, finding your first cog tags, the cog tags were just a blast to collect. Finding the first cog tags, doing the roadie run into cover for the first time again, like all of that is just, again, it's just
people were talking about the AI and are like, oh, they couldn't upgrade all this stuff. It's like, are y'all playing on easy? Like, you fighting the AI in hardcore was not like something to sleep on. Like, and you can tell, like, it's dog, I've played it.
Call of Duties. It's no different than any of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A normal, it's no different, Steel.
Nah, not right? Really. The AI be sometimes running the opposite way, got a mind of their own. Right. You fighting them motherfuckers on hardcore or insane?
Right.
Especially on insane?
Get tapped.
Yeah, okay. See if you could just do whatever and make fun of these dudes, because them snipers, especially this sniper locust.
Oh, yeah. Magnets, bro.
It's there.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to do all that again either. I just want to hop in and start playing again. And again, it just gave me the good feels, and that's what I'm taking this for. Again, was it necessary to re-release on Xbox? Of course, it wasn't. But again, if they're going to make it for PlayStation and call it Reloaded and change some things, then it just releases across everything. Who cares? Who cares at this point? It's Gears 1. And it's a classic, always will be a classic. The fact they even took the time and money to update it, to get it to the PlayStation fans.
It couldn't have cost a lot.
They didn't have to do that. Like, Gears is big enough where they could have just dropped E-Day over on PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
I think they would have still sold well. Fine. I think a PlayStation, but they wanted to I think they want to bring them all eventually over there anyway. So this is a great start. And I enjoyed the hell out of it, man. So, shout out to the team who did it, and again, it brings me back to the old days, and it's just fun. It is just a blast to play again. So, that's basically all I got this week. Because again, I don't have a lot of time to play anymore. So, but that's what I've been rocking. Steel, a little bit of Gears Reloaded, brother.
Hey, that's really good to hear, man. Yeah, it's been. I haven't jumped back into the campaign again. I've played enough of the campaign. Gears of War's campaign is one of the few that I have played a few times. Right. And again, I don't play stories typically a few times over, or multiple times over, I should say. And even Fahim in the chat, right? He even said it's my first time playing it, but so far he's digging the story. Again, like, as long as I'm not even going to preface it with that. It is not meant to be the most jaw-dropping, mind-bending experience that you have ever played. It's not supposed to be that. I don't think Space Marine was that, right? Space Marine 2 wasn't like the most mind-bending. Really, if I really evaluated Space Marine 2, from an outsider looking in who has know nothing about Warhammer like that, outside of Space Marine, I'd be like, yo, this is some of the most random shit I have ever experienced in a fucking video game. Whereas Gears feels a little bit more core to its universe, right? But again, that's kind of the outsider look at their perspective. Maybe other people would feel a little bit differently about that.
To answer Fahim's real quick, answer Fahim's question, because he's asked what Marcus did to get locked up. If I remember correctly, still didn't he disobey orders?
Wasn't
to go get his dad?
He did. The specific thing during the Pendulum Wars, the specific thing that he did was
you read the book.
He disobeyed a direct order to go save his dad.
Okay. Yep.
And he was put in prison for that.
Yep.
He said,
I wonder if we'll get to that with E-Day. I wonder if they'll do.
I hope so. I hope so.
To that point.
I think they will. I think they will. It just depends. That's why I was also thinking, and we mentioned this previously, I think there's going to be a couple games. There's like E-Day and then maybe another game. I think it's going to be some time before we get to Gears 2 Reloaded or whatever. Because again, I also think they're going to flesh that out. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully they do give us a little bit more behind that, what that was like. Disobeying that order. So
yeah, exactly. That'd be
but again,
really
but that was also why Dom broke him out. He was like, dog. Right. There's really only other person I can rely on right now, and what y'all did to this man is fucked up.
It still catches me off guard that the whole entire prison's empty, but they were keeping Marcus in there.
They
had released everybody else, or everybody else was dead by the looks of things, and they kept Marcus.
They were just doing him dirty,
like, bro. How
they did him dirty?
Like, yeah, they did him way dirty.
Mm-hmm.
You need everybody right now. You're fighting against this, and you're gonna worry about that shit. Come on, man.
For you and Fahim, you good. He said, like I said, I'm just getting into it. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
Fahim, I was trying to answer it.
If you like the first game, if you like what you finished playing or whatever, there's books and everything else that tell you more about what happened and kind of carry you through as well. So if you end up getting interested in a minute, or if you just want to keep it to the game, man, I mean, again, I don't have no problem. Again, I'm not as fresh on a lot of that, but Gears is definitely one of the IPs that's like Halo, where it's like, I was interested enough to kind of find out the behind the scenes or what the additional involvement, which is part of why I wasn't as critical about the Halo show, because in the books they get into Chief's humanity, so it's like them giving that aspect, I kind of appreciate it. I still don't think it's the best representation for the games or for Halo or for Chief in general, but I didn't think it was absolutely worse. Decado said it should deal with that and Dom's wife in E-Day, hopefully more than one game. See, and for me, I think the stuff with Dom's wife, I think the stuff with Dom's wife when we get to Gears 1 happened much more recent than E-Day, right? Because E-Day, I think, takes place 10 years prior.
Yeah,
and I think Dom's wife, when you end up running into that scenario, and I don't want to spoil it for Fahim, when that situation happens, I think how that went about happened much more recent than 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So, but maybe they deal a little bit with that. Yeah, Fahim, the Gears books are phenomenal reads if you really want to get into it, especially the first few, or the one where, because there's a specific book that actually details Marcus getting put in prison, why and how people felt about that, his beef with Hoffman, because he has deeper beef with Hoffman, right? Like, Hoffman did that out because of other things too, and Marcus was that dude, so it was kind of hard for Hoffman to kind of like push back against him a lot. So It's kind of like how it's kind of like Chief, right? Chief throughout the stories could push back on direct orders a lot. And what were you going to say to the dude? He's literally taking care of everything for you. He's dealing with all this shit, carrying everything on his back, and you're trying to give this man direct orders to tell him to stand down or not do certain shit. He's like, bruh, if I'm not out there, then what? You have me. It's been proven.
What's hilarious is Dom showing up to break him out, and he says, "This is the stuff you catch after playing this stuff for like the millionth time, right?"
Yeah.
And Marcus is like, "You're gonna get in trouble," and Dom's like, "Things have changed."
Yeah.
Right. He's like, "Things have changed," but then when they fly in and Hoffman sees him for the first time, he's like pissed, like he didn't know that Dom was going to break him out. So technically, Dom was disobeying orders as well and breaking his ass out anyways. Right. What are you going to do with that?
But then the reality hits you. It's I can't do nothing to Dom. So at this point.
Right. I just thought that shit was funny when I was listening to it again. I was like, holy shit, Dom really was going out of his way just to go get Marcus. And they were going to let Marcus rot there for no freaking reason while the world's falling apart.
One of your best soldiers,
that's on another level of petty personal. Bro.
Oh yeah,
that's on another level.
That's what made it so good, because you're like, bro, really? He's the dude, and you're like, nah. Leave him in there.
That's like telling Chief to go back to sleep, right?
Yeah, like, come on, dog.
We're gonna put you in stasis, Chief. You're done. We don't need you. Come on.
Yeah, it's so funny. But so shout out to Gears Reloaded. The main things that I kind of want to hit on. Again, I have been seeing up and down conversation about it. The shotgun is overly tuned now, I will say. But I've been seeing some good points about it as well. Yeah. Right? For me, it's situational more than anything, right? There are moments where I get hit with an active and it does one tap you down. It's like, come on, dog, really? From that distance? Like, it has you asking those questions. Now, again, that's why I also mentioned back in the day, that's kind of how I remember it being, though. Like, just random bullshit would happen, right? It wasn't the most consistent experience. The consistency came from higher skill players. Like, once you start learning more about the game or how the game really works, you can make it more consistent. But nonetheless, I don't mind the shotgun the way that it is, especially for new players coming into it. Hey, this is the shotty. You don't want to run into it. Shoot people with the Lancer from range. Again, I also feel a way about the Lancer, right, as well.
Did you find out mine? Well, you don't use it enough. Did you use it more? And did you?
I did use it. I did use it some more. Yesterday, I had to use it.
Yeah.
I ran into this. I give you guys. You ever want me to get back in my extremely toxic bag? Like, I'm talking about saying shit that I have stepped away from saying.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, because when people do gay shit, I say much more than just gay. Like, I go to the next level. I'm like, oh, so you just want to be an F word today? Oh, okay. This is what we're doing. But anyway, people started. We were catching bodies. Me and my brother were playing or whatever. We were catching bodies. We ran through these dudes the first round. We were on gridlock, and then they started fucking sitting back and shit, sitting in the towers, lantern. I was like, yo, what? I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? I was getting killed by the same guy because I'm getting lanced from all over the fucking place.
Playing the game, Steel is playing the game.
They are playing the game. And again, there is enough skill expression there. It's just, again, you're just kind of getting into it, having fun or whatever. And when people want to start being like, oh, I'm going to start doing this other shit now. Again, Gears vets see it as corny. It happens on a major league level too. When you start playing against higher skilled players, it becomes more moment to moment. But but if you ever want me to get into like that space where it's like, bro, I didn't know this side of Steel was like this. Like, dog, I was just, again, like I had mentioned in the beginning, I changed my control scheme to alternate again because it makes you wall bouncing and stuff like that more consistent. I am definitely in my old man Steel bag when it comes to jumping back into Gears 1. And again, the game has also evolved since Gears 2, right? It has not played the way that Gears 1 feels. It just hasn't, right? So also readjusting back after playing the new games for so long, right? It is very jarring, right? Some people are going to be able to adapt to it way faster than others, right? If you've never played the game before, you'll have an easier time adapting to it than most people would who have been probably playing, right? Now, of course, there's going to be little tricks that I know and stuff like that. I still can't get used to the center screen shooting. It still feels weird to me. I still think the shot's going to come out the barrel a lot of the time, especially like heat of the moment. I'm like, now, again, you still get the barrel stuffs where I'm barrel stuffing people and they don't die. Again, right. It reminds me of like, I get into like that space where it's like, bro, why is this only happening to me? These dudes run up to me and do whatever they want. You can chainsaw me, you can barrel stuff me, and it works every time. I do it to you, bro. This dude was sitting on the back of a car. I walked up to him, aimed, and shot him, and he ate that shit. I was like,
yo, yeah.
And then he turns around and kills me. I'm like, dog, what are we doing? But Gears is, and how I know it still impacts me in a certain way, Gears is still one of those games that gets me the most frustrated. Mainly because of where I was with the game to where I am now. It is very frustrating because to me, it becomes I should not be dying to this person. I should not be dying to these things. We should not be losing this game, right? But again, that's all because of the mentality we had back in the day, right? And again, maybe some people consider it toxic, but when you start getting it to a point to where you become more competitive, you're playing with people of a similar skill level. So when you're playing with people who can't or have not that level, it feels a way when you get chainsawed by somebody, because that doesn't happen at a certain level. Like you just randomly getting chainsawed, that does not happen. People aren't just nobody's gonna just let you chainsaw them. And just other little things too with movement and stuff like that. But it's definitely the most thrilling that I felt in a multiplayer game in some time. And I was not expecting for Reloaded. Like, again, I played the beta and stuff like that. And I thought it felt good then. But the way that Reloaded has got me, it's like, damn, I want to get back in the gym. Like, I just want to be able to, catch some bodies, continuously get better. And for me, again, I'm having controller issues as well. My right bumper fucking broke on my Fly DJ controller. Fucking stupid. It's just the dumbest stuff ever, bro. Like, why are we getting controllers where these plastic pieces on these controllers don't last? Like, what
happened to my Turtle Beach?
The same thing. It fell apart. Yeah, it's like, dog. And I know you don't abuse your controller. I don't abuse my controller. Sure, it has fallen a couple times. It's on carpet though. Yes. But still, like, the right bumper, especially with the way that this controller was supposedly made, it's got like all the button presses supposed to be real nice, clicky and all that good stuff. It's like, how did that break? It's like, when did it break? And it was like one of those moments. I was trying to reload yesterday, and it was like, bruh, why won't it reload? I'm missing the reload, not reloading. I'm on my last I have no ammo in the clip. I can't reload. I'm like, what is happening? So it's just been a really fun time to get back into something that is core to my multiplayer experiences, right? Because you think Gears 1 came out in 2006. This was still transitioning from middle school to high school, right? So this is prime steel, right? I had time to like be nice at this shit. The only thing that I'm missing from Gears Reloaded, and they didn't have an Ultimate Edition either, is the server browser. They have it in Gears 5. It was in the original Gears 1. It's just, I don't know why they haven't implemented it. I really would have liked to see it put back in Reloaded, because it was just one of those most memorable experiences. Again, I akin it to like Battlefield, where there's certain servers, the names and all that good stuff, and you run into those lobbies. Like back in the day, we used to as well, like if somebody you used to run with all the time on a daily basis, whatever the case might be, somebody you ran with all the time, y'all were familiar with each other, friends, whatever the case, on each other's friends list. If you popped online and you sent them a message and it was like, oh man, your lobby full, can you get me in there? At the end of that match, they'd stop and like, yo, we got to get somebody out of here. We got to get Steel in here, man. That was the thing back in the day, right? And it was the camaraderie, it was the brotherhood. It was just a lot of that stuff that added on to the experience. Yeah, you can go play regular multiplayer if you want, but so the server browser stuff is different. You know what you're getting involved in, right? You're playing with similar skill players all the time. And I think that's what adds on to the frustration, being at that point where it was like, hey, that was me on a daily basis, playing Gears, wall bouncing all over the place, us constantly stressing each other out. And it wasn't even stress, because at a certain point, it was just us having fun, right? Constantly trying to improve and everything. So, but Gears Reloaded has me wanting to get back into that bag, man. So that's extremely exciting. It gets me excited for E-Day even more, because I am seeing more people jump into it and try it and at least say, hey. The number one thing that I did miss about Gears, bro, is just the fucking game chat. Bro, the toxicity is back. You talk about Call of Duty. You want to talk about people talking shit to each other? Yeah. But especially after a round ends, bro, I was listening to these dudes out the fucking round ended, and these dudes on the opposite team were talking mad shit. Dog, you're not even that fucking good. This is going on. And we blew them out the next round again, because they were like, wait till we get this next round started. Wait till see what we could do. And they got fucking obliterated. They ended up leaving the lobby. And that's the other thing too. It has rolling lobbies as well, so you're playing the same people until they leave. That's a good feeling. You know, let's say it's me, Paul, my brother, and somebody else, and when you get a whole team to just back out of the lobby, that's your lobby now, right? So now people are coming to see you when they load in, so that's funny. The one negative I will have is loading into losing matches. Okay. There was a couple matches. Well, not even a couple. There was a few matches that I loaded into. It was like, we're playing King of the Hill, and the score is fucking 180-10. I'm like,
this ain't Battlefield. You're not turning that shit around.
I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? They got full momentum.
Take your loss.
I'm like, bruh. And it just gets crazy. Dip down, what's going on? But yeah, it's been a stupid amount of fun, man. Can't wait to play some more. Dan the Man Cunningham says, I used to play Gears with my son when he was a kid. He kept running off like it was COD and getting killed, and have to revive that little shit. That's what it is. Or either that, you giving up fucking kills. Yeah, that's the worst. Being known as the feeder is the worst. You will be talked about. People will send you messages. You will get kicked out of the lobby at some point. Do not feed the other team. Because that was the other thing I was thinking about last night. Being on the bottom of the list in a Gears game, it hits different. Unless you're actually contributing, assist, because again, the game snitches on you. The game tells you how much damage you were doing to people and all that stuff. So if you're like, but there's a difference between being on the bottom and being involved, and being on the bottom and you're feeding. Like, dog, what are you doing? Like, to sit back, play behind this person, follow this person. Because a lot of the times in Gears, what people don't realize, especially being newer into it, if you see somebody that got more kills than you, follow behind them. See what they're getting involved into. 2v1 is better than 1v whatever, you know, especially if you're getting frustrated, not finding any success.
I'm guilty of liking to flank. I'm guilty of
somebody got to. I get you.
And trying to flank, right? Especially when you know they're all grouped together and you respawn and you know you can come back behind them and nobody's come back there. I did that one of my matches and I actually got 2 or 3 kills. I think. I think I got 3. That felt good because they didn't know I was on top of them because they were too concentrated on the rest of my guys. Yeah. So I was like, that feels good. But there will be times where I do it too much and I get wrecked because somebody's waiting.
People know it,
and I just get wrecked. Yeah.
Or if you got a good sniper or whatever the case. Yeah, a good sniper in Gears as well is also extremely noticeable. You're like, dog, I can't get away from this motherfucker, dog.
I hate sniping, bro. I hate.
Yeah, I've never been the nicest sniper in any game that I've played. Right, I'll pick it up. I'll get some headshots. But if I pick up the sniper and I'm catching some headshots, it's different. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we used to fucking train blind firing headshots. That's how you could predict the game. You can make the game predictable. That's what made Gears kind of fun back in the day. That skill ceiling that multiplayer games have. I think there are few these days that have the skill expression that Halo does, that Gears does, that even shucks for Space Marine 2, I think has a good form of skill expression as well with some of the things that you could do with some of the characters, just to bring up a newer game. Call of Duty has it, right? As well. There is a difference when you're playing higher skilled players. You could see it. It's just something to say about that. So it's been exciting. Other than that, there hasn't been much else that I have been into that I can think of. Outside of playing, of course, a little Assetto Corsa No Hesi, still playing that off and on. I haven't played it more. I think I'm kind of I'm not going to say falling off, but the honeymoon phase for it. I'm still enjoying it, right? It's still my go-to as far as like if I want to put something on, listen to podcasts, get in some content or whatever the case. I think it's still my go-to for that right now. Wu Chang has kind of fell to the wayside right now. Again, more so because of just the games that are coming out. Reloaded has definitely took that spot from me. Right, I did want to go back, and it's not because I was having a bad time with Wu Chang, like I mentioned previously. And even if I would have bought the game, I think I would have still ended up in the same spot, regardless. But who knows? Maybe I'll end up going back to it. Maybe I won't. I've done that with a few Souls games now. At this point, there are those that are going to hold that time. The other thing that doesn't help, again, when you have people that you played games with, like my brother, for an example. I think I mentioned it last week. We were playing a modded version of Night Rain. We're continuing that. I have the episodes of that going up on my channel, right, on a daily basis. And that has taken that slot for the Souls game that I'm playing right now. And Night Rain has another big update that's coming in, and the modders are like on top of that shit. Like all the current updates that are out, modders are implementing that into their own version. So it's like, oh damn, like this gives me unlimited amount of playtime along with the type of combat that this has involved. So that's been really dope. Other than that, what else? There's been one other thing that I have been considering, and it just actually released a couple days ago. I made a video on it, put it on TikTok, and it was talking about Destiny. Kyle mentioned it earlier. It's not just any Destiny. Destiny Rising. Destiny Rising, I haven't played it yet. I have not played it yet.
Okay.
Yes, Destiny Rising is a mobile game. It is not out on any consoles. And it's not technically out on PC either. Although you can emulate it on.
If they did it still.
Oh, with the way people are feeling about it,
yeah, the PvPvE. I'm sure
that's what I was surprised. That's what I was surprised because that's exactly what got my attention. Was people saying, "Yo, this PvP is kind of nice. Yo, this PvPvE mode, this Gambit, this new version of Gambit, it's pretty nice." That's why I had to make some posts on X. I was like, "Bro, why is NetEase seemingly understand Destiny better than Bungie did?" Like, there's just a lot of things that have been implemented in this version of Destiny that are like, Bungie, where have y'all been at? Like, for an example, third person. They have third person in Destiny 2, but only when you're doing supers or you're holding certain heavy weapons or whatever. Why not just implement that as a playlist? You have that as by default. You have the choice to play the game Destiny Rising full first person or full third person. What a Marvel concept, right? Now, again, Destiny Rising is technically a gacha game as well. Now, not gacha in the way where it's like you get these new characters and you're so far stronger than these other people, but it is character based, right? Instead of making your own character, you're unlocking characters, right? The guns and everything are of same level and everything, so you still have that progression, right? You still have that looter grind to it and everything, but just how they're approaching it has me interested. And as a Destiny PvP fan, or just, I'm a Destiny fan, it's just they've made so many of the wrong turns. It's just turned me off over the years. And for me, NetEase has been doing pretty damn solid. Naraka Blade Point was pretty fucking good, right? Do I still play it today? No. Would Destiny Rising be something that I play a year from now? Maybe not. But me and my brother are Destiny fans. So it's like I hit my brother up. I was like, yo, you trying to try this out? See what's going on with it? I at least want to upload a couple videos, give people my raw thoughts to see how I'm feeling about it. It is going to be through emulation on PC. Apparently, people were playing that way in the betas as well, and NetEase has no problem with it. As long as you're not cheating or doing any of the extra bullshit, they haven't had an issue, right? So it's like they got full controller support. It's available on all phones, right? For the most part. Of course, you're going to have you got to meet a certain spec or whatever the case, but nonetheless, it's interesting seeing another company take an IP that has been loved by a lot of people and seemingly evolve it in such a way that Destiny players, like the hardcore Destiny players who are jumping into it, are like, damn, this is pretty fucking good. Hey, Bungie, what's going on? Like, and that's my main complaint. I think that does pitch into like what me and Paul mention all the time about AAA versus indie devs or versus smaller teams or just other studios, right? Where you're seeing the quality differences. Stuff starts kind of weighing one way versus the other, where it's like, guys, y'all have a decade in this game. Why is priorities still? Why is this? I mean, it's priorities.
They lose sight still.
But arguably, Destiny Rising can potentially make more money than Destiny ever would, and they were just trying to sell cosmetics and seemingly not trying to change.
But that's what happens when you got people at the top, right? That lose the vision, that lose the sight. And obviously now we know with Destiny that was a lot of it. Again, they were cooking the books, they were robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you get so big and unwieldy as a dev team, right? And with the way that the dev pipeline is now, you talked about it forever since I first started podcasting with you about how they abandoned the PvP side of things. And that was one of your, that was the main reason you stopped playing Destiny, because that was your main entry point into Destiny, was that. And they got away from what made as a total package Destiny what it was. And it worked for a while, and they built a super fan base. But then eventually that all catches up to you. And obviously, like I said, then you got the people at the top leave, and then the people left over start losing the passion, start losing the vision. And all of a sudden now you got this unwieldy dev team that is just spending oodles of money to come up with the next great expansion to try to carry that over. You start pissing off your fan base. You start sunsetting all this content.
Content.
That is a complete loss of vision, Steel. That is a complete, what you originally planned for Destiny is now a shadow of its former self. And here we are. And when you're in that mode, then you're in survival mode.
That's what it feels like.
Thinking what somebody could do, like we're seeing potentially with NetEase, taking an IP and having a new vision, right? With a very dedicated team to create this vision and going, hey, we're going to fill that gap that hasn't been there for Destiny for a while by bringing back PvP and some PvPvE. And they know what they're doing. Obviously, they've done plenty of gacha and they've done plenty of online stuff.
They've been doing it.
They get it.
Again,
bro.
Marvel Rivals.
So they got a new look. They got new eyes on this IP. The IP is a great IP. There's no doubt about it. Again, what happened to it isn't great, and where it's at is not great. Yeah. But it's a great IP, right? They would never have found the fan base they did. So here comes NetEase and goes, hey, we know what we can do. Let's throw some third-person view. Let's throw in this. Let's get back to the old school. We know how to build multiplayer games. And they do it, and it's like people go, oh, shit. We've been missing this whole damn time. Look at this. This is great. And I think that's basically what happens to a lot of the legacy devs and the legacy IP out there, is eventually they just become shadows of their former selves and they can't reclaim it. But somebody else, this is why I've always argued, Steel, why have your old IP sitting in closets? Dust? Why not license that shit out if somebody wants to work on it? Why not find a new partner to come in? I argued about this when we first started talking about Halo. What they're going to do with Halo.
Especially,
Bro, get some new eyes on it. Have people come up with some new games that, 343 never would have, or Halo Studios, as they're called now, would never have thought of, right? Let people run wild with that IP. Let them go try some new shit, right? Come up with new stories in that universe. Like sometimes this is what you need is a fresh look at things.
That's what NetEase did. They said, hey, you don't have to worry about the story of regular Destiny. This is a different timeline. Things are not the same. You don't have to worry about all that. If you're a new player, jump in. You'll be good to go. It's like, fuck, like Halo. Why do we have to wait for a TV show for come up with a silver timeline? Just fucking license it out to somebody. They can do, hey, this ain't the same Halo timeline. It's a different one. Cool. Whatever. You don't have to focus on Chief then. You don't have to do this. You don't. StarCraft. Hey, it's different. Hey, we're doing something different. Cool. Like, there should definitely be a little bit more of that, at least with studios who are going to pay respect to the original IP. And I saw people mentioning like voice acting and stuff in Destiny Rising. It's like, Yes, because they were complaining about there seems like there's some AI usage as far as voices and stuff goes. And it's like, yeah, I can definitely understand some of that. But at the end of the day,
guess what? It's gonna happen more and more, everybody.
And honestly, with a game like that, I mean, again, they were taking a gamble with Destiny Rising. It wasn't guaranteed to work. You know what I mean? Of course, you're using Destiny, so people are going to check it out. But people could have checked it out and said, "Oh, this is ass," and it wouldn't have mattered. Now, as you progress the game, you get something under your shoes. You can involve voice actors down the line if that's what you want to do. But again, like DePalm was mentioning, this is a reality of what's happening right now. Whether you see that as wrong or right. Hey, it's better than, for example, what I was sawing all out of Lost Soul Aside as trying to get into that a little bit. Again, a game that I am very interested in. But after, the things that I have seen, the pushback on reviews now, I still don't think there's any reviews up for the game. To this point, it has become a game that I'm just going to wait to play because I don't want a sour taste in my mouth, right? I've experienced enough games now at this point, especially single player games, that continuously end up being better later. And I do think Lost Soul Aside is another good example because I've seen a lot of people kind of referencing, hey, this is a game. It's cool. The combat is cool. It's a decent game. It could be fun. Can't expect the world from it. But, people that were getting into it were like, hey, this kind of feels like a game that's in beta. And it's like, okay. I mean, I don't necessarily take that as a super negative. And from what I've seen from the combat, I like what I've seen. But I've also seen people say, hey, it's kind of, hitting people doesn't feel the greatest. The movement feels kind of off and kind of wonky. There's certain things that necessarily aren't where they need to be for a game that was supposedly in development as long as it had been. Again, yeah, it was made by a solo dev from the beginning. And again, it is still a game that I'm interested in. It is a game that I still want to play. It is not a game that I would pay $60 for. There are some key sites that we're selling it for $30. There's some key sites right now they're selling it for $50 as well. I do think 40, 50 is the perfect price range for what I've saw so far. But it's more so because I already got a good amount of stuff on my plate already. There's other good games that are going to be coming out too. I would rather give myself the best experience later, especially being able to play it on PC. I can see modders jumping in there and getting crazy with it, right? For just the potential amount of stuff that you're going to be able to do, especially with it being in, because I think it's in UE4, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, this game is ass. Like, nah, I'm not saying that. I don't know. I don't like what I've saw from the voice acting. And it does seem like I was somewhat accurate as far as how some of the characters come across, plastic-like, doll-like, the lack of expression from the characters and stuff like that. That is stuff that I did see from other people. But I think one of the most embarrassing things that I've seen from Lost Soul Aside is just the lack of passion from the voice acting. That moment where the main character is falling down into a hole. Whatever voice acting was done with that, I hope it's AI, because that is the.
Is it English?
It was in English, bro. It was the worst shit I've ever. Like, the dude was falling. He was like, oh. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. I was like, but again, it's from a double A team. It is supposed to be like a highlight from the China Hero project. I don't know if it's lived up to what people
as an individual dev, I think.
Yeah, but I was mentioning, it is a game that has been in development for quite some time, right?
Yeah, 10 years.
So it's like I do consider everything at on surface level. What am I seeing? Hey, this is a game I am interested in. I like what they're doing. I do think also from what I've seen, to make the comparison to Devil May Cry, I think is a little bit of a stretch.
Sure.
I think this is DMC light, if anything, and very light. Now, it is over the top in combat and stuff like that, which is cool. And there is more skill expression as you unlock moves and stuff like that, which it looks like I had a good skill tree. But again, that beta feeling, that's kind of what I walked away with just viewing it, and with everything else that I have out right now, where it is coming, it's kind of like, I think it'll be a good time to jump in. 6 months from now, game's $30. I can get it for $20 maybe. and then kind of go from there. So I don't have nothing negative, super negative to say other than the things that I've seen about it. I don't know if you had anything else to add on about what you've seen from Lost Soul Aside. I know it does play into kind of what you've been asking for action games, right? Something that you can kind of have fun with, get into. And that's what a lot of people are saying. Hey, the combat's good, but some of the other things, I don't know if you saw some of the other stuff around it as well.
Oh, I did. I reposted a couple of the things about the AI to not responding at all and, just not attacking at all. And I saw a bunch of good things and I saw a bunch of, bad, or I won't say bad, just uneven things or whatever the case may be. I had not seen that clip about the voice acting though. But again, Steel, this I've been playing AA games for so long that this stuff doesn't bother me. And I said on Thursday that this is on my list because it is an action game. It's not a solo game. And I'm going to support people who are making action games and bringing about this kind of comeback of your Ninja Gaidens and that kind of stuff. I don't care. And this guy took a lot of inspiration from Final Fantasy
15.
15, etc. So, and I see that, but the game looks good to me. Like again, AA games.
There's some downgrades as well too. There are some downgrades.
There's some downgrades. But like I said, Thursday, it wasn't gonna be day one for me. But is it on my list and I eventually will grab it? Absolutely. And nothing that I've seen so far has scared me from that. We've talked about continuously, Steel, for a long ass time, and I give you all the credit in the world for being the one that has said it the most and started saying it the most early in this gen. If you can hold off single player games, you will always get a better experience down the road. If you don't FOMO in, you will get it for cheaper and your overall experience will be better. And I've always agreed with you and said, that's why I'm so glad I got rid of most of my FOMO. There will be games where I definitely FOMO in for sure.
For and my FOMO though.
Right. I know that, again, Cyberpunk, said it was a top 10 game for me by the time I finished it 300 hours in from day one without any patches. I said it was a top 10 game by the time I was done with it. Had I waited on Cyberpunk, it would have been. Can I honestly say that I would have had a better experience than even a top 10 game? Yes, I can say that by looking at the game. Does that change my experience? No, it doesn't. So again, but can I say for everybody who jumped in later down the road, you guys were getting a better, yes, you were getting a better experience than I were. So again, that's the trade-off, right? And going into every experience as a gamer, knowing what you're spending your money on, understanding that chances are this game is probably going, again, let's just be real. It's not every game, but it's pretty close to 100. We're running in the 90 percentiles here. The games, single player games that you pick up day one will be patched, will have things change, make the game a better experience down the road, even small things, right? Even just little things with menus or with those kind of things, you will get a better experience down the road 90% of the time if you wait, and you will get that game on sale cheaper, right? Potentially, most likely. So I think it's great advice, and I think this is just another one. But I look at AA games, I judge them differently. I don't care how long they've been in development for. Indie games and AA games, I forgive a lot. And again, that's a me thing. Again, as long as my saves aren't getting corrupted, as long as I'm not losing game time, I deal with bugs. I deal with dumb AI. I deal with stuff like that. Doesn't bother me if the core experience is still good. The combat I've seen, Steel,
it looks good.
The specials and stuff, that looks good. It looks like a lot of fun. So I'll get it down the road for sure.
Yeah. So if they need to tighten it up or whatever the case, it's unfortunate to say it like that. To that point that, waiting on some of these games is better. But again, it's the reality of the situation. You'll get it cheaper. You'll get it with more updates. Maybe I can see an expansion coming out for the game, right? I can see a 2.0 and it gets a new resurgence and all this great stuff, right? More cosmetics and everything else like that, right? Again, no, did it hit like Stellar Blade did? No. It didn't. I don't even think it's a remote comparison. But you know what Shift Up had versus what this dev has? Shift Up already had a whole other game. They had a gacha, they had a mobile game that was out there that was successful. So they had money already along with Sony then coming in and providing additional support. So even that's different, right? So it's like that was the only thing that I could draw a comparison to, where it's just like, comparing game to game, because people are like, oh, the closest thing I can compare Lost Soul Aside to is Stellar Blade. I was like, I don't think that's a fair comparison either. That's not even remotely close. I would say, no, Lost Suicide is like your traditional action game. Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta. It is of that ilk. Has it refined some of that stuff down that people would expect out of those games? No, not seemingly, but it looks like, over time it'll be done nice. So. But other than that, I mean, I do want to jump in. I did want to jump into it, but I've set that to the side, and but that's pretty much been my week of games that I can think of, at least, that I'm kind of remembering of. And other than playing some Gears Reloaded, as you guys see in the background, that I got gameplay for you also. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. And yeah, that's been pretty much it, man. Excited about what else is coming around the corner. Again, Eden Zero, I believe it's called. The Doom-like game is coming out top of the month. I don't know if I'm going to end up jumping into that. Again, the plate is full right now. The plate is heavy right now. Like at this point, I would just be adding on games, add-on games. So it's like, right. I'm getting to a point now, like with games, like where I'm just being realistic. It's like, dog, am I going to play this right now? Eden Zero might be another game where it's like, I'll pick it up down the road. And that might probably going to be even better, right? And I think the game looks good, right? But we got good games that are coming into Game Pass as well. September looks like it's going to be a fire month, right? Speaking of Game Pass, that's been another conversation piece this week, apparently, because, again, we got to talk about how Game Pass is changing how consumers look at games and what they're going to buy or not buy, and it's hurting the industry again. So we're going down that road once again. Although I saw somebody with that point was brought up. I saw somebody mention, well, what about Expedition 33? You're like, oh, well, that's different. That's the one. That's every now. You don't get those all the time. And the service, like, are you sure? Game Pass has been pretty solid this year. I don't think this is one year where it's like, I don't know if you could necessarily be like, because then it got into, oh, is it really saving you money? It's like, I mean, sure, you're paying for the service on a month-to-month basis, but these are games that you didn't have to pay full price for. I would consider that a savings because they were like, their point was, oh, well, if you're in Game Pass and you're still buying other games, are you really saving money? It's like, huh?
I get to play more games. That's the point. So yes,
I'm
playing more games. Again, it's not for everybody.
It doesn't need to be.
But what's funny is there's a bunch of people on that side now that are celebrating that they're playing Lies of P for the first time because it dropped into PlayStation Plus.
True.
Okay, what happened? What happened?
Oh, I was gonna buy it, but then I waited.
What happened? What happened, bro? Like, what happened to support the devs? What happened to subscription services being the death, especially of smaller devs, right? Especially of smaller devs. Like what happened to that? So again, the hypocrisy is there. It is what it is. Either use the service or don't. Buy your games, rent them. Who gives a shit? Nobody cares anymore. Like, this concept is what it is. If it fails, it fails. If Game Pass eventually goes away, it goes away. Again, nothing changes in this industry. This industry's got bigger problems than any one subscription service, and we all know this, but you all want to find blame between the Series S, between Game Pass, like all these issues. And there's so many more out there that are obvious. Again, DICE just came out this week and talked about how a large majority of players in the beta were playing on machines below minimum spec on PC. Yeah. This is the argument that Steel has made and other tech people have made. You can look at the Series S all day long, but there are plenty of PC players out there still rocking PCs that are less powerful than the Series S right now and trying to play these modern games. Like that's just a fact. And again, they say, well, we've created this for a minimum spec, but you still got people out here playing on it. And then you got people bitching about the performance when they're running a rig well below what they should
it's like,
be.
Come on, bro.
Yo, come on, bro. Again, this industry's got a lot bigger problems than Game Pass or the Series S or anything else you want to lay at Microsoft's feet. Like, okay, again, Microsoft, to some of these people, is the literal devil of the gaming industry. And you guys,
seemingly,
it has been for a very long time. But this idea, right, that you would not use PlayStation Plus the same way that Xbox users use Game Pass. If PlayStation was putting the same amount of money and effort into PlayStation Plus, this idea that you all would hold some moral standard in video games and you would still purchase all your first party games if they were showing up to PlayStation Plus and you were subscribed to it, and you would just not, you would pay for those games if the opportunity was there to play them, is utter and complete bullshit. I will call 95% of you out as liars. There might be a small percentage that would hold some moral high ground, but I don't think you'd be subscribed to PlayStation Plus then at that point. So I just find it funny every time the goalposts move. It's so obvious and it's so clear to me. It's just garbage. Again, things that don't work or things that cause harm to devs or to a company will eventually die off and will move on. And again, the industry will continue to move on, but this industry has much larger problems than any subscription service or any weaker hardware. Those are not the things that are holding back gaming at this point or interfering with games coming out in good quality for the most part. The dev pipeline, what the devs are spending money on and time on,
yeah, the time
and what the higher ups are focusing on is more of a problem than any of those two things right there that people like to blame.
100%. I think more so with the I mean, again, just to hit on that point. I was thinking about it this week. I mean, again, we've talked about it before, the development timeline more than anything. When you're looking at games taking upwards of 6 years to release, it's like, bro, what are we talking about? If at this point, at what point do you look at the development at the studio heads, at these people who are in management positions, the creative director or the head of art or any of these people that are, on top of these teams and say, yo, what are we doing? At what point do you refine games down to where you can get multiple games out? I'm not talking about like what they're trying to do with Spider-Man. Oh, we're going to cut up the Spider-Man experience. We're going to make it. I don't need a Spider-Man 1 and then a Miles Morales and then a Spider-Man 2. I don't need that. I would rather it be in Spider-Man 2 or whatever the case. Now, mind you, if the experience is worth it, then the experience is worth it. If you're able to do it, couple years, few years, whatever the case might be, and the title's worth it, then great. There's enough improvements made, great. But I do think there is also that lack of, or the fear of, especially from the normal games or whichever the case, the non-live service games, where it's like, why does every game have to be the most iterative game that you've ever released? Like, hey, maybe I want to get a Gears 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 where it's like, whoa, this is the same game but different. Duh. Like, why is that a bad thing in this case? Or like how people feel about Spider-Man 1 to 2. It's like, oh wow, what's so different? Now I can fly, now I can do this, now I can do it. Yeah, but there are differences, right? And they got it out in a decent amount of time. But spending the type of time that all these studios are, maybe, again, that's what AI would help with. And I know a lot of people are down on that stuff. But again, it's like AI in our hands trying to put together a game, and AI in the hands of an actual developer who understands code, and a team of developers who understand code. I think it is not even I think. It has to be a night and day difference. Because these people can type whatever out, get an idea, get the baseline, and then boom, they go in and refine it because they know what they're looking at. They know what they're looking for. It helps absolve so many of these other issues because, again, the gaming industry is a volatile market. You have to appeal to the consumer in order for you to be able to succeed. If you are not appealing to the consumer in the gaming atmosphere, you are not going to succeed. Point blank, period. It is a form of art. That's what makes gaming unique. Not every game is going to be successful. Not every game is going to work. I also find it weird where people have this mentality like, oh, well, why are you being so negative about ABC game? It's like, because, dog, not every game is of a certain quality. Not every game needs to be successful. That's the point of it. Unfortunately, these people aren't getting paid just to make whatever game that you want to make. Nah, there has to be some return. You're getting paid to make the game. For a lot of times in these bigger studios especially. So it's like, bruh, you have to consider what's going into these processes. How do we refine this down? How do we help? I don't have all the answers. I know I'm just talking from a consumer aspect for what I would like to see, right? Again, my inventory is already full, right? Like I already have a lot going on. Other games coming back again. Have Reloaded back. It's like, who would have thought Steel would be playing Gears Reloaded and that be the multiplayer game that I want to play? After playing Mecha Break, after playing COD, after playing Battlefield, after playing Arc Raiders, after playing whatever else, right? So something to continue to think about, man. Nam says, although I barely use my Game Pass, it's still hands down the best deal in gaming. More access to games for more people. Again, that's the idea. Like the people that constantly talk about people buying games, I need you to truly understand what you're saying. Because I get it. If you're somebody who's going to buy every single game that you're interested in when it drops, yo, shout out to your pockets. Big up. I feel you, dog. But there's no way that you're playing every single game. You got time for every single game that release. There's just no way. Not only that, if you're saying, yo, Steel, instead of doing Game Pass, how about you buy your games? I've mentioned this before. I will be so much more picky that y'all will not be able to stand it. And then that's just going to cause more developers to fail. Because if I'm not even willing to try it, then who does it matter? Like a PC, people continue to argue about, players versus copies sold. Well, what's 0% of nothing? Exactly that, nothing. So it's like, why does it matter who played it or who bought it? If you played the game and it compelled you to buy it, great. If it's in a service and you have access to it, great. Play it there. If it's working for the publisher, that's all that matters right now. And I still find it weird that we're in this like in between space to where people are like on one end, and I think I've mentioned this before as well. On one end, people are like, oh, well, Game Pass is ruining people's minds and how they look at games. And on the other end, they're like, oh, well, Game Pass is a failure. I don't get how both things can be. Like, you're saying that Game Pass is destroying the industry while in the same breath saying Game Pass is not successful. I don't see how both can correlate or exist at the same time. Which one is it? Is it helping or is it hindering? I don't know. I thought it was just an option. Because when I load up Game Pass or when I load up Xbox, it says download, buy, or trial cloud, which they just opened up for Xbox subscribers. You have cloud access now. So it's like the doors are opening up, bro. Like, I don't know. I don't know if is there anything else that you kind of wanted to add on the back end of that, as far as like how things are being, how that stuff's being looked at?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, no, I really don't have much more to add. I mean, you're spot on, Steel. And I just, again, they keep adding value to Game Pass is the important thing. And they want to, as much as people say that it's not sustainable and hasn't been sustainable for years, this is going to be, at least as of right now. And again, things can change overnight. We've seen that. We saw this generation. Sure. But as of right now, Game Pass is a major part of their future ecosystem as far as bringing more people in and the continuity between all aspects of wherever you use Xbox, right? They don't want any difference between any device, and that Game Pass goes a long way as far as your library goes, as far as holding it all together. So I think no matter what, ultimately, even if they raise prices, whatever they do, it doesn't matter. That this is going to be a main function is still that opportunity for people to jump in. The fact that they're adding cloud gaming to the base form of Game Pass. That's crazy. That's huge, bro.
We thought they were going to make a whole nother tier for it, right?
Yeah. No, we thought that that's what was going to come. And maybe they still will. Maybe they'll have, again, because they've stated on record multiple times now they're going to try to get their cloud gaming up to the level of GeForce Now. So they are going to have to update greatly. Maybe they didn't have a tiered level like, hey, what cloud gaming is now, which can be good. It's mixture.
Yeah,
I mean, Mav has a great time on his. I've had mixed experiences.
Yeah, same.
Sometimes good, sometimes not great. Maybe they give that tier to the free, and maybe they have the GeoForce level, whatever they want to call it, as an extra tier as well. They could do something like that. But again, I think the main part of this is that they're not fading this out. They're not like they stopped kind of talking. They started telling everybody basically you don't need an Xbox console, which was clear sign that they, at least for this generation, it was like whatever. The series console, they haven't started doing that with Game Pass. Game Pass is still included in everything. They continue to update it. They continue to give us more value inside Game Pass, inside the tiers. Whether or not they go completely away next go around, next generation, if they don't need, I mean, they're gonna have console players, so they're still gonna need it, but they're gonna focus on the PC side of things. If their console, basically is a hybrid, you can just basically run the PC version of Game Pass. We'll see how that all plays out, but Game Pass ain't going nowhere, and it doesn't show any signs of dying down. It doesn't show any signs that they're investing less in third-party support, even though they have 1 billion first-party games now in the pipeline. They haven't shown any of that. We keep getting new surprises added. EA Play was supposed to run out at some point.
Yeah, true.
That just keeps going, bro. Like EA Play just keeps. I don't know if they signed
EA seeing something from it.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I just think that the future is bright still for Game Pass, and I still think it's going to be of value when you are trying to get people into the ecosystem. People will sign up and say, holy shit, I've got an entire library. Is it for everybody? No, we found that out. Not everybody games like we do. Not everybody can be converted to thinking that they need to have.
People don't even buy games like we
right. People don't buy. Again, we found out, Circana confirmed again, 2 to 3 games per year, right? So that's all fine. I just think that they do still see Game Pass as a vehicle and as a selling point, and I think that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. And again, if it ultimately fails, then it ultimately fails. This industry will move on. It's a speed bump. That's all it is.
And again, I just think the main point of you saying that, hey, this is what's destroying the industry. No, this is not what's destroying the industry. What's happening internally with these studios is what's killing the industry. Y'all not understanding what gamers want. Y'all not doing the research. Y'all not putting your best foot forward. However you want to put that, whether it be, them trying to do things different, trying to appeal to more of an audience, whatever the case may be. It's multifaceted. But I can also say, hey, there's just not enough people buying games. So it's like, how do you answer that? How do you answer that problem? You can't just tell people, oh, you should buy more games, because they're not. People are already strapped for their pockets as it is. Trying to tell somebody they should spend, again, $60 for a Lost Soul aside when the game is not releasing in its best condition, or when people of a bigger audience, again, when you hear a Maximilian, for an example, say that the game feels like it's in beta, it's not a good look. The game can be good combat-wise all that it wants to. But when you have somebody that has a potential audience of 1 million people that is just watching them, it's like, well, I mean, that doesn't sound good either. You think that's going to motivate somebody to buy the game? Probably not. And there's a bunch of those titles that are out there that don't get bought, that get completely overlooked. Devs are as much as people try to say, oh, well, there's these devs complaining about Game Pass and services, and oh, I have Sean Layden come out here and say these things. It's like, there's also a lot of devs out here who saying people are just ignoring their games. Again, me and Pong share on Twitter all the time of people who do these posts and say, hey, the algorithm's not ignoring my game. I got a good game. The algorithm's just ignoring it. We share that shit all the time. Where I was talking about Bomb Rush Cyberpunk or whatever the case. And I had a post that ended up blowing up a little bit that was like, hey, people want Jet Set Radio, but you won't play Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is supposed to be somewhat of a successor. Now, I'm not saying that they're the exact same game, but the games, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk was supposed to be a spiritual, quote unquote, successor to what the game was. So, hey, if you want to tell these developers because there is another Jet Set being made, if you want to give them additional confidence, maybe you should try this game out to demonstrate, hey, there is an audience for people that are looking for this. Hey, I want to talk about this with more people. Hey, I want to introduce this to more people so that we can get a Jet Set Radio faster. Maybe you'll introduce it to somebody who's completely unaware. I can't tell you how many people under that post were like, I didn't even know this game existed. And I like Jet Set Radio. I think this is a good kind of middle ground. Hey, if it may not be everything, because I saw people immediately, oh, well, Bomber Cyberpunk, it's not Jet Set because it doesn't have all the ABC. It's like, nobody said it had to be that, but you can't look at both games and say, oh, well, they weren't trying to appeal to that audience.
Oh, no.
So,
some of the original creators were on there.
Exactly.
So
they made music for it and everything.
I think the original music guy was the one that really was promoting. I knew about this forever. Again, it blows my mind, people in this community that are on X, because that is a smaller percentage of gamers who are even engaged on X in any way, shape, or form. How much people miss, or how much people have no clue. Because dudes were pumping Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, right? But I talked about it a couple times on the show back in the day. I actually have it on Steam now. I haven't popped it in yet. But you know, to your post, like I said, I think you had done an original post a little bit earlier, a couple weeks ago or something like that, or a week ago or whatever, before you did this one. But I said, again, this is where nostalgia does win out, Steel. If it's not in a lot of instances, and again, Jet Set Radio was not the biggest game of all time, but it was an absolute phenomenon, and it was a cult classic.
It was cult classic, yeah, 100%.
It grew a fan base, right? And had a very strong fan base, especially on Dreamcast, right? That was a massive, like, I love Jet Set Radio. I've been calling for it to come back for a long time. But this is where nostalgia sometimes does win, where a spiritual successor or a copycat, that hardcore fan base still looks at it and goes, not quite the same. Now, I was pretty excited for it. Admittedly, didn't pick it up day one. Admittedly, didn't buy it day one. Picked it up on Steam. Still have not popped it on, but I'm planning on doing it. But I did watch some videos on it, and there is, some differences, obviously.
For sure.
But I think this is where it's not 100% where a spiritual successor garners the same type of fan base or attention that the original does, just because it's filling a need. And we got to remember too, Sega, shortly after Bomber Cyberpunk came out, so the smoke was out there that Sega was going to start bringing back some of their older titles, including Jet Set, and it's confirmed.
That's confirmed. Yeah, what's happening?
So I think a lot of people held off at that point too, just waiting to see Sega bring back Jet Set, the original, right? But I do agree to a certain degree, right? I would like to have seen more people play it, more people kind of promote it, as obviously something that a lot of people wanted Sega to do, and I just think it would just kind of missed its mark a little bit. Now, I haven't played it yet, so I got to play it, but watching the videos, I think there's a lot to it that's cool as hell, but there's a lot of differences too.
For sure.
Again. So, that's my only idea about what you had going on with that post, but I agree to a certain level with you that it should have garnered more attention.
And it's just one of those things. And again, I know gamers don't have to think about these things, but there are things to consider, especially when you see that there are devs who are involved with certain IP that were from the original version, or there's music that's implemented and you got some of the original people that made the music in the original game now in this version. It's like, dog, yes, it's not the exact same, but you got to show some love to this one so that people know, okay, maybe this next version of whatever it is, or give Sega some back end and say, hey, there is an audience for this. People are looking for it. So, Crow says the big issue is how to convert the young generation to buy games. Right now, I don't think there's anything cool enough that stands out enough to really pull that. Again, when you try to make the comparison to a Fortnite, to a Roblox, to a Minecraft, to these games that have games within them as well and have become their kind of own ecosystems, there's not many games that compare to that. Destiny's not that. Gears will never be that again. Halo will never be that again, right? They have potential to reach a wider audience, right? As they grow older, they might, jump into it. But I'll just use, and again, this is just, it may not be the best example, and it's just an internal example for me. And I do hear conversation from other young folks as well. So, but like, my kiddo plays on Xbox and stuff all the time. She didn't ask. She's asked for an Xbox previously, right? You have one in her room or whatever the case. But she's asked more for a PC or a laptop, or something that she can play Sims 4 on. Or Sims 4 is an old ass game, bro. Like, as an example, like, there is obviously a generational difference in how they look at this shit. how we were impressed. The people in chat, me when I was young. Again, I'm one of the youngest people probably here and in our chat. Right. Again, I looked at the metrics. We have an audience that's between the ages of 25 and 50. So I thought that was actually kind of dope. But anyway, I'm one of the younger audiences here, and even though I remember those times, right, and I wanted an Xbox, and I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do that, they're not looking at it the same. They just don't look at it the same, and that has been, and you can obviously see, is an impact on games today, because they're not the ones playing Space Marine 2. They're not the ones jumping in and playing Gears Reloaded. They're not the ones playing Lost Soul Aside. It may look cool, but things don't hit the same way that they used to. And because we are in this place where it's just like, we have a certain level of quality that's just become an expectation. And I think it just takes a lot, unless you're like a Fortnite, like a Roblox, like a Minecraft, where you're doing so many other things that layer on top of the experience that you're already getting. It's difficult, man. I don't even know what to do to get more people to buy games, as an example, or to try more games other than what Xbox is doing, as an example, what PlayStation is now trying to do, which we could transition into about a Series S version for the PlayStation 6. But anyway, what were you gonna say, Paul?
When I look at this stuff, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, right, Steel?
Yeah, it does.
Again, everybody likes to say history repeats. It never really does if you look at it, but it does rhyme. And I think you can look at other industries, and video games are no different. There's going to be ebbs and flows to the popularity as you go through generations.
Yeah.
Again, books have moved to digital. That still has not increased book sales. Less people read now than ever before, which is a massive problem in my opinion. Again, I was got to look at the school stats to understand why this is a problem in the education system.
Yeah,
but again, people don't read. People would rather watch everything now, right? People don't read on the same level as they used to. Movies have now gone through this transition, right? Where less people go to the theater, right, to watch movies. Everything became available online. This is why I've said for a while now, for the past at least couple of years, or about a year and a half, I guess, that contraction, I do believe, is a reality of this industry, and that we are going to get smaller again. Now, how small is up for debate, but I think we are going to get much smaller than we are now. I don't think that this industry is going to continue to expand the way it has been forever, because the younger generations aren't buying. We still have, my generation, Steel generation, still have buying power for about the next 30 years or so, probably. We are locked into video games. I think anybody who from my generation is still playing video games, or anybody who's still playing video games from Steel generation, most likely will continue to play video games for the rest of their lives if they're available. So I think we have another 20, 30 years of buying power, but the younger generations might fade away from video games. Video games might be peaking, as I've called it, the golden age right now. Some people would argue that this is not the golden age, and I get that.
There's no way. There's just no way you can't consider. It's hard to consider it not the golden age. God damn.
I know, but people would just, again, with the issues of quality and that kind of stuff. I can hear we get a lot more than we ever did before, but there's a lot of throwaway too. So whatever. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. I just feel like maybe we are peaking, and unless there is some next level, right? Virtual reality takes over, or everybody does become transhumanists and we all have chips implanted. We could plug in and go into a virtual world without leaving anywhere or wearing any kind of goggles. This is a point where we see the downtrend of video games overall, because the younger generations, maybe they play now the Fortnites, maybe they play now those types of games, the black hole games, but maybe as they get older, they actually move away from video games, which used to be a thing back in the early Nintendo days, right? There was a time where that was considered a kid's toy for a very long time, because older people grew up, had families, they weren't playing Nintendo anymore, right? They weren't playing Sega anymore. It happened. I have buddies who I played with right back in the day in high school or in grade school that I know for a fact are no longer gamers and haven't been for a couple decades, right? So part of my generation moved away from video games, and we might be headed back towards that as kind of a history rhymes, where the earlier generations, the generations we see coming up now, may play video games, but as they get older, they just stop. They just grow up into adults and they stop. And it could be a part of which way the world goes as well, right? Now,
it happened to me when I graduated high school. I slowed down a lot. What I was playing. I mean, again, I wasn't as heavy on Gears 3 because again, I was thinking about that earlier as well when I was, playing. Like, it's just, that's the other thing about like Gears Reloaded that it has done for. It's just kind of like thinking about your mortality, right? Thinking about the things that have happened to the past, what has led you to today. Where it's just like when I think about Gears 3, when Gears 3 released, I was coming out of high school, right? I was a senior graduating. The time that I had during that, like, I didn't even play it the same way that I was playing Gears 1 and 2. So it's like I'm getting frustrated in Gears Reloaded about something that I fell off of after Gears 2. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I've kept up with the game, but I wasn't playing it the same way that I was before, right? So there is going to be a difference. And just coming into that reality of like, yeah, this is the mortality of it, but still, I can still play into it. I can still have fun. I think I'm still having fun. And yeah, I'm getting frustrated and I feel like I'm an ass getting killed by people I shouldn't be getting killed by. But it's like, this is the fact that I even feel any of this. And I'm still like, dog, it was a moment yesterday. You can ask the wife. It was a moment yesterday. I was like, bro, I'm about to fucking uninstall this shit. I'm fucking frustrated. Like I did that during the beta. I was like, yo, I'm good. I'm just ass. This shit ain't gonna work. I was getting to a point. I was like, man, maybe multiplayer ain't for me no more. I was just, but there's only certain games that kind of draw that out of you, and there's those times where you got to kind of sit back and be like, damn, things are different. You get older, you play things different, but it's also different because we have more than we have ever had as well. So it's like, I'm also doing a podcast. I want to talk to you guys about, I haven't played, like, for an example, also aside, we're talking a little bit about it in chat. I haven't played the demo. I don't need to play the demo. I'm convinced about the game. I'm not saying that the game is bad. I just think from what I've seen, it seems like it's in beta. It's going to be good later. Great. The fact that I can even do that, I think is dope. That I don't feel compelled to do it right now. I would have loved to, right? So I can come here and chop it up with you guys, but I find myself, especially coming into the gaming community, more so jumping into games because I want to be able to come, on the show or just discuss it with other folks and say, hey, but that's just our bubble. At some point, life also comes knocking at the door. You got to be like, I need to be realistic. What am I playing? What am I not playing? What do I have time for? What can I wait for? And when you're asking those questions, it's like, yeah, we should still get these games, but what's going to allow those games to still get made and for me to still have the availability to play it later? You know what I mean? And that's one of the toughest things that we're fighting against right now. I don't know why we cross that barrier outside of giving people more access so that you can build up your library and then you go back to it when there's a lull. Again, that's the other thing. When is there going to be another lull if things keep going the way that they are? I don't know. There's a lot of consistency that's happening now. Interests keep peaking. Games are going to continuously get better. Hopefully continuously get better. Maybe we get games day in, but I think that's what places so much emphasis, again, to use the example of Lost Little Side, why putting out a good product day one, or Diablo even, there's some other games, Redfall, whatever game you want to throw in that mix. That's why it is so important for you to release a good product day one, because nobody has to feel sorry for you that your game didn't succeed. Why did your game need 6 months worth of work? Starfield. Hey, if you want to use Starfield as say it's a bad game or whatever else the case may be, hey, it needed 6 months for it to get a 60 frames patch that somebody did in a week and put out a mod in a week. Why are we still seeing, like, that's the thing that frustrates me the most about a lot of this shit too. Why are games releasing? They say, oh, we can't do certain things, and I have modders on PC as an example. I think PC is exposing a lot of shit. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Just in my personal opinion. I was thinking about this the other week, at the beginning of this week, actually. I forgot what game that it was, but it's like a day later, they had modders had a patch for it. I was like, so why can't they do it? Is it because of the certification process? Is it because of this? Is it because of that? I don't know, but something is off. So why are these people who are random people who aren't getting paid for it able to get these things done? There is an issue. So, Lord Chaos says, Roblox is such a huge platform that these young kids don't even leave it. That's all my 9-year-old son plays, and I have an Xbox X with Game Pass Ultimate, PlayStation 5 with Plus Premium, and Roblox is it. Yeah, I mean, my oldest has done the same thing. She'll look through the catalog of Game Pass, and it's like, it doesn't get her. She'll go right back to Roblox, she'll go right back to Minecraft, go into Demon Slayer. You know, so there's certain games that have got her, but it's like, and again, I'm not saying that that's the end all to be all, but even in your example, Lord Chaos, they are doing something that other games don't offer them. Consistency. You get to create a character. You get to play these different games within this game. They're keeping you in that world. And I get people saying free-to-play games are a problem. I don't think free-to-play games are a problem. I think quality is the problem. More than anything. So,
I think anecdotally to what I was talking about, my kiddo is now 25, right? And he grew up a gamer, right? He was
good. Yeah,
he grew up a gamer, a hardcore gamer. Played a lot of different stuff. I had him playing, RTSs, I had him playing, COD, I had him playing Battlefield, I had him playing, all sorts of games, right? As he got older, right, he went to mobile like his generation did.
A lot of people did, yeah.
And, he was playing Clash of Clans and all the big shit from his period of time. He still had a console. He still enjoyed console playing. But as he's gotten older he still plays every once in a while. But his interest is nowhere near what it was, back when he was a kid. And that's why, I say this, and it's anecdotal. It's one kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying it's his generation because his friends, I've talked to him because I obviously talked to my kiddo, and I've talked to him because we, grew up playing video games together, and I'll mention things like, hey, did you see the new Battlefield 6? Blah,
yeah,
blah,
you mentioned that. He was like,
he's like, oh, no, I didn't. I got you. I got to look at that. Yeah. And I definitely would be interested in playing that. But I ask him all the time, like, hey, are you, your friends still playing whatever else? And he's like, nah, not really. Nobody really does that anymore. Nobody plays online a whole lot. He's like, I still do, but I mostly play with randos or whatever the case may be. Right.
It's me. Yeah, I play with randos. Yeah.
And he's got a weird schedule too because of his work schedule. But it's just still, but it's life. But he hasn't even started a family. Right. He's still, he's in the generation that's still at home. Right. He's still at home because they can't afford to get their places their own, which again, we're not here to talk about that problem, but that is a massive problem.
Yeah, no, it is. It's real life.
It's real life. So he's not even like gone that far yet, but he still is busting his ass working, works 10, 12-hour days most of the time. Otherwise, he's gotten interested in investing. He's doing all this other stuff. He is slowly but surely trailing away from video games. Now, will I say that he ever stops playing? I don't know, but I think that if he did get a wife and kids and a house, there's a big potential that he wouldn't even think about that. And he's not a party dude. He's not going out to the bars. He's not a drinker, like none of that shit. Right. So there's no other distractions. He's just drifting away. And I think that's a lot of the generation, like talking to him about his friends and where they've gone and what they're doing. Yeah. They don't really play video games like that anymore. Like they haven't carried that passion that my generation, Steel generation, a lot of our audience generation did with them as they grew up. They are drifting away a little bit.
And I think I'm only slightly older than your kiddo.
Right.
That's the crazy thing to think about. That's like when I say the generation behind me, like my brother's 5 years younger than me. So it's like, and he doesn't even look at games the way that I do. If I don't tell him about shit, he don't fucking know.
Correct. Yep.
Or care. He really don't. Like he's super critical too. I just reminded him about Borderlands 4, and he's a Borderlands fan.
Right.
He was like, "Oh yeah, I seen a couple things about Borderlands. They did something new." I was like, "Yeah, they released all new gameplay." I was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even look at it." You know what I mean? He's in the military. He is by himself. The only person he has to worry about is himself. He's playing games every day still, but he's playing Destiny. He's playing Elden Ring, Night Rain. He's playing, games with his buddies. He's playing Call of Duty. He's meeting new people and they're playing COD. Like that's the one thing he always tells me. Like I've run into people and they want to play COD. Like, yeah, you know, we play Convo, or they want to play Fortnite, so we play Fortnite for a little bit. He runs into girls all the time, or it's like that's the game that they want to play. It's Fortnite. Oh, well, he's playing Fortnite, so it's like, you know, there's a lot of that detracted. I don't think that it's. I'm going a lot on a tangent about a lot of, but a few different things here. I mean, but I think the main point, because I do see that talked about all the time, is just, oh, it's these games' fault that things are the way that they are. I don't. You can't just blame them that they ended up being good games at the end of the day. Like, as much as I hated Fortnite especially in the beginning, when it adapted, when again the words were not even the words, you can visibly see that they stole an idea and implemented it within their own game, and it took off. That made me feel a way. I was like, damn, that's the fuck. But it worked for them. I can't be mad about it. No, the whole build shit I never liked. But guess what? They do no build. It's like, oh, well, damn, I can't even shit on the game now. They continue to support it. People continue to play it. They have these big events in there as well. They continue to try to elevate themselves. It's a thing for Epic. You think Epic cares about how successful Gears of War is now, or as a main thing for them, like they did back in the day when they got Fortnite? What other game did they need? Nothing that they create up to this point is going to compare to what they got right now. And it's because they made something that was good, that was adaptable, they're listening. Do they always do great? No. But there are teams that do adjust and everything, and they're making a ton of money from it, bro. It funds so many other things for them. But I don't think it's their fault that things are the way that they are. We've just seen a lot of laps. We've seen a lot of issues. There's things that need to be corrected. And it's just, again, it's always going to go back to, how do we pull those people in? Battlefield 6 could be one of those. Battlefield 6, like you mentioned, Pong. I mean, again, I know it's a nuanced take, but maybe he does play Battlefield. Maybe that is the thing that gets him to play, on a night-to-night basis. We end up having your kiddo at a party, running with us, or whatever the case might be. Maybe that is something that happened. Or maybe not even Battlefield 6, something he used to like or love back in the day, hits him that way. Maybe it doesn't.
Helicopter. He practiced while I was at work to fly the helicopter.
But maybe it does pull him back in, and then he's exposed to some more, and then maybe he meets a girl who's into the same things. But how likely is that?
Yeah.
Right.
Not very.
There's so many reality type things, and I just find the conversation interesting, and this is something that we can literally go on for hours. So, chat, if there's anything else in particular like that you would like us to cover, I don't have anything in particular. Some like off whatever topics right here. As you can tell, again, we have a shorter show today. We only got about 50 more minutes before we got to wind things down. But I always just think that this conversation is interesting because, again, we are in a space where we can't look back in the past, especially in gaming, as a hobby, as a passion, whatever you want to consider it, and say, hey, what is the next step forward? What is going to be the next big thing? Hey, what else can we judge off of to see what success really looks like? Shit, Sony sells 80 million consoles, and you see the majority of people who bought Helldivers 2 was on PC. 63, 67%, whatever that percentage ended up being, whatever the case, bro, you have 80 million consoles and more people bought it on PC. Your players aren't even engaging with it. And people run this thing, well, people aren't buying they always say, oh, Xbox gamers don't buy games. Obviously, y'all don't either. That's why this is happening in the first place. So it just continues to be it. That's why I love this shit. Because again, there's always more and more layers to add on, to peel back, get other people's opinions on, and try to see what is the future for us as gamers and how do we move forward. One, I just want a vibranium controller. Can I get a vibranium controller? Can I get controllers that will have like some form of metal inside of them? That's all I want. Anyway, that's becoming a whole different thing again too. Although, Paul, I don't know if you've seen, apparently there's more keyboard, Delta Force, I at least use them as an example. Delta Force is implementing more keyboard and mouse support even on console.
Oh, good. Well, again, good for the keyboard.
Having the option though.
Having the option, because again, that's
on console.
That's gonna be the future.
It's crazy.
If Xbox is doing this hybrid thing, bro, they're gonna have to offer keyboard and mouse, right? that's obvious. Like if they're going to do this hybrid thing, you're going to have to do it because there's a lot of games on Steam that don't have controller support. So, you know, I think this is a good thing. I think this is what originally, I mean, you go back, the Dreamcast had keyboard. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not a new idea to do this. I know it doesn't catch on because most console only players don't give two shits about keyboard and mouse. But I mean, we are at this point now where, like, again, sitting on the couch, there's so many different little, again, I told you, Steel, now when I move and get settled in and get my big shit done, I'm going to get the couch set up for keyboard and mouse, right? So even playing RTS games and stuff like that, I love controller support on them, but not all of them have it, and not all of them implement it well. Sometimes keyboard and mouse just works better. I will never play first-person shooters keyboard and mouse, but that's just me. But I think it's important going into the future as we start to blend, PC and console together more and more, and everything's cross-play. I think it's important to have that. So that's dope that Delta Force is starting to do that. They won't be the first, but I think it's dope, and I think Xbox is going to really have to lean into that and advertise it as well. I'd love to see them come out with some kind of pro, keyboard and mouse when they come with their next console. Really play into it, right? Or have somebody make it, right? Have someone make a high-end keyboard mouse gaming setup for Xbox with the Xbox button and everything on it. I think that'd be dope, and I think it's something that they need to look into. So.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, I would just show it on screen. My foldable keyboard. This is literally a keyboard that you get a little stand for, or you get a little thing for your lap. If you want to hook up to your PC, to your TV, or whatever the case. This is everything in one. Then you have a controller on the side where you have it sit on the coffee table or whatever the case, and boom, you're good to go. And guess what? It folds right back up. It's convenient. It's easy. This is the future that we're moving into, man. Ease of access, giving more people a way to play. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out. Again, the only thing that I'm asking for, if we're going to continue to ask for exclusives, can we see some hardware differences? That's all. Like, why are both companies using AMD? Why couldn't one pick NVIDIA? Like, I think that would have been more interesting, right? I mean, true, it is, but at the same point, like, and I'm not saying that it had to be AMD or NVIDIA. Those are the only players really in the market. And again, fucking look at what you got as far as options. Intel's trying to do something, but it's like, bro,
Intel fumbled the CPU market, so there you go.
I mean, fucking you can't be having shit burn up. God damn, that's so stupid. It's crazy to think of where they were at to where like they are now. It's not even a conversation.
Now AMD's kicking their asses in the CPU.
It's not even remotely. Yeah. And again, Intel still has their thing. I mean, Intel still makes good CPUs, whatever the case, but it's like they've had up and down issues, and AMD came in as the budget thing and has given a lot of people versatility. So. Dark Zone says, dude, I stopped buying games on Xbox and PlayStation and just went full PC. But what's crazy about that, Dark Zone, is you're still playing Xbox and PlayStation games.
Right.
It's like they're still seeing the profit from that. You didn't have to buy it, and you didn't have to buy the console to do it.
Yeah. No. And again, the console, generally speaking, loses them money anyways when you buy it. So they make their money off the accessories more than they do off the console, the hardware itself. So
bro, again, controls are the same price as a game.
Right. That's why I said at the end of the day, like, again, as soon as, like, I know people don't want to believe this, and these people want to, as soon as they can make digital games perform as well as what we have now, be a console based, they will move away from the console. Everybody will shut down, including Nintendo will shut down, and they will just produce their games digital as soon as that's possible. Now, again, how close we are to that, I don't know, but the hardware is the most debilitating part of the business when you're looking at it. And that's why Nintendo uses old tech. And that's the game that they figured out and decided to roll with so they can make money off the hardware. But that doesn't keep them up to date. Doesn't let their developers expand. Now I think that they're scared of third parties outdoing them in the games. That's why they're not pushing out their dev kits.
I heard you talking about that. Maybe.
I'm just saying. What did I say, Steel? The Switch 2 comes out. It is still going to be an update to the tech, even if it's still older tech.
To the older tech.
The expectations are going to increase for their first party naturally. people are going to expect Nintendo to make better games. And now all of a sudden you've got hardware that is on the edge where you can get games like Cyberpunk ported over. You can get games that their fan base that our Nintendo only heads didn't have access to for all these years, generation and a half. Now all of a sudden those games are going to start showing up. And people's tastes, again, I'm not saying that all of a sudden Nintendo fans are going to turn against Nintendo. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying playtime, money-wise, where they shop, all of a sudden they get a taste of some of the newer games. There might be a certain percentage of that fan base that goes, Nintendo, what are we really doing here? Just like people who know better still have looked at the Pokemon games forever and go, come on, bro. Like I'm still going to give you my money.
That's how I feel about ZA. Yeah.
Right. I'm still going to give you my money, but come on, Nintendo, we know what the 15 frames, 20 frames, really, bro? Really? We haven't updated. And then Pal World came out and she really showed them up. And it was like, everybody was like, come on, seriously. That will start happening a little more and more as third-party games get on there. Modern third-party games get on their console. And I believe that's why they're slow rolling these dev kits out. They don't want to flood of third-party games impeding upon those first-party sales. And that mentality that Nintendo fan base goes, oh, we know it's not modern gaming, but it's still Nintendo and it's the best ever. Again, I've seen more people out here starting to criticize the $80 games from Nintendo and going, really, Kirby? $80?
Yeah, it doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same. It's like me playing Gears Reloaded. I mean, even if you get into it new, but it's like $40, right? If you get into it brand new and never played it before, whatever the case. And then you're looking at Kirby for 80, you're like, again, one's an older game that's being remastered, and you're looking at Kirby like, or you're looking at a Lost Soul side, or you're looking at, whatever modern game that you want to put in that aspect. Like Outer Worlds 2, you want to throw that in there, which I saw. That's been interesting this week as well, seeing people's opinions about that. I mean, again, I didn't play Outer Worlds 1, so I don't have nothing to say, but
it's going to be bigger, better. Let's go.
But I do agree with you on some level that for sure that it is interesting to see how Nintendo's playing this, and I think Nintendo's also looking at their own, for lack of a better way to put it, mortality on how they are looked at in the industry. Because how long can you continue to do what you've been doing? And again, it's working, right? It's going to continue to work for them.
Undeniable.
But just like y'all, I mean, like I brought up on Thursday as well. At what point do you start looking at things and be like, Nintendo, does brand mean so much to you that you're not willing to put your game on PC to where you could sell 5x of what you would normally sell? Is brand really that important to you? Are you just going to continue to curve out this lane and think that people are going to continue to support you? Because again, Nintendo has also had a hard time with it being consistent as well, as far as hardware goes, right? Like you're going from, again, you see what they're done with Switch 1 to Switch 2. Yeah, there's improvements, but where's the hardware improvement? Where's the true leap for y'all? You didn't. You played it safe this time, because the last time you tried to make it leap, you did the Wii, and that didn't do the greatest. So you had to Wii U. You had to do Wii U to bounce back a little bit, and then you did Switch to double down on that idea, right? Along with everything else. And again, there's a lot that plays into that as well, because I mean, Nintendo's is multifaceted. On one end, they do treat the developers well, right? Their CEOs they'll take a pay cut, right, to have everybody else be able to eat. But at the same time, they're also not elevating up to a level to where, again, they're not in the same conversation as far as Xbox, PC, and PlayStation goes. They're not. This has been a proven fact at this point. And I think, I mean, even seeing stuff like Pokemon ZA, it's like, yeah, it's cool, but really? This is what we're putting out? This is what we're supposed to be excited for? Oh, wow, you added ranked matches? God damn. Okay, I mean, and people are going to get excited for it. So, I mean, it continues to be interesting to see how things play out. Dark says, I went full PC because I don't see the point in consoles when I can play their games elsewhere. It just also depends on you as the gamer, man. depending on how you want your setup to be, if you got the space to set up a PC, for example, in your living room, I've always told Pong, like, you know, that you can treat your PC as like a console. Are we at a point to where it's always flawless like that?
It's not flawless.
No, it's not. You still run into random BS issues. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why consoles will continue to have a place. And if you're already seeing that trend of people willing to adapt, or if we're gonna, again, that's why I mentioned last week, if we're seeing $700, $800, $900 consoles, people are gonna start evaluating what they're spending their dollar on, what you can get more bang for your buck on. If I can get this device, or if I can get a piece of hardware that can not only play games, but then also gives me access to, maybe it'll edit a little movie, or edit a little this, or do schoolwork, or do this, or do that. It's going to become more of an interesting conversation. Technology is only getting better. Laptops, even, especially. Just as an example, it continues to be a viable product for people. It will, and probably will forever be on a certain level or not. So, Dark says, my PC is my console. I have it hooked up to my 65. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Again, if you don't mind a little bit of stuff here and there, it's not a bad situation to be in, bro. Especially nowadays. Nam says the thing is Nintendo gets them early, so they grow up with that brand, with that brand loyalty. And again, Nintendo got me earlier, right? Now,
I grew up with it.
If Sega did, I think Sega pulled me out of it very early on as well. I mean, again, there's a reason I feel more strong about Sonic than I do Mario. Right. That worked, right? That worked in Sega's favor. Now, are they around selling consoles today? No. Is Sonic the savior? Is Sonic as popular as Mario? No. Does he still have popularity though? Yeah. So works for different people, man. Well, what do we get in here? We got about 40 minutes before we start winding things down. Again, chat, if there's anything in particular you would like us to jump into, let us know in chat. Well, we can definitely touch on that. But Pong, I mean, is there anything that you've seen specifically this week that's like maybe we should kind of hammer into and talk about?
Success
Any ideas?
Helldivers. I mean, we got the success of Helldivers. We've got obviously information on a couple games that came out, some behind the scenes information.
Which ones?
Games we've got
behind the scenes.
Osiris.
What is that? The Expanse? No.
Yeah,
Is that the Expanse game or the game that's like Mass Effect? That's a different, because that's called something different.
Is it? No.
Because the Expanse game is different than the Osiris game that you're talking about, I think.
Wait. Hold on.
Because people were saying, because the Expanse game is more recent, and people were saying like, oh yeah, it's like this, but it has a TV show behind it. There's another game that it doesn't have a TV show. It's just a new IP.
But hold on. Let me go back again. This is the problem with not being,
because I don't know if
locked in 24/7 anymore. As you start to lose. I
don't know if I bookmarked it or not either. It doesn't look like I did.
Well, let's see here. Hold on. I know.
Let me see if I type.
I put it somewhere. Hold on for a second. Put it somewhere. Yeah, Judas. We got information on Judas as well.
There's still people sharing Mass Effect content. It's crazy.
Oh, of course there is.
What a classic game. Let's see. I can't remember. It's Osiris something. Let me see. Mass Effect, like game, Osiris.
There was just another book too. I saw.
Oh, I mean, Osiris Reborn. I thought there was the Expanse Osiris Reborn. I thought there was another game too, though.
No, I know which one I think you're thinking about, but all the information we're getting is on the Expanse.
Exodus, an epic sci-fi RPG developed by former BioWare developers.
Okay, yeah, that's the one too. That's the one that had the trailer with the girl who runs away with the boyfriend.
Okay. So it wasn't this
chasing
one.
The dad's chasing her through time, basically trying to locate her, and he's getting like old, and she's been off traveling, and like she's not like he's getting older because of how he's. I can't remember how, but anyway, she was off with the boyfriend. They were going to find some alien tech, and they meet the aliens, and they wind up in a bunch of shit and all that kind of stuff. And the dad's hunting her down throughout the galaxy, right? But the one we're getting the most information on is the Expanse of Osiris Reborn. So yes.
Yeah. Okay. So no, it was Osiris Reborn. Yeah.
Yeah. And
the one I was thinking was Exodus.
Yeah. But
that's different.
Osiris is the one that's really turning out to sound like Mass Effect, right?
Which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the details?
You can romance, betray, plot against other companions, be a double or triple agent to your heart's content. Like this, we're going next level here, Steve. Like this is turning out to be the RPG. Like the full-fledged kind of RPG as far as that goes, like playing a role, even beyond what Mass Effect allowed you to do, with the, sorry, it's slipping my head.
Paragon or Renegade?
Paragon, thank you. Yeah, Paragon or Renegade. This sounds like you're going to be able to go way beyond that, right? And so I think that this is why people are getting excited. This is why I posted, like, the hype for this is already is beyond. And again, you've got all the lore with the show, but they're saying, actually, people were saying this morning, I've got to find that post, that this is actually going to follow the books, which I haven't read.
Really?
Even closer than the TV show, which people are excited for, right? Because supposedly, obviously, with anything that comes from books to, big screen or small screen, a lot of people say so much is lost in that translation, right? Because obviously you can't go into the detail that books can. So people are saying that this is going to absolutely follow better. Also, the other stuff that came out, single player, story driven, sci-fi action RPG. This is from Owlcat Games. You play as Pinkwater security mercenary who's on brief shore leave on the asteroid Eros, spirals out of control. You become trapped in a deadly lockdown and drawn into a solar system-wide conspiracy. Adapt, survive, take command of the most advanced ship in the system. Visit iconic locations. You get to walk through ruined habitats and political strongholds, mired in unease and tension, talk to locals, uncover secrets, and use your skills to influence what happens next. Create and customize your own captain as an Earther, Martian, or Belter. And if you watch the show, you guys will know what the difference between those are. And there's a big difference politically and socially. Big, huge difference between those three, which is crazy. But you can kind of, it's a reality-based universe that they've created, which you could forecast in the future, much like how, Starfield was set.
Yep.
Todd talked about it being in a grounded future. Again, a lot of the Expanse is set that way. Lead a crew of highly skilled specialists as you face off against escalating threats, political pressure, and other relentless enemies. Companions have their own unique stories and backgrounds. Some chase redemption, others hide their truths. Choices you make throughout the game and how you lead affect your relationships and decide whether they flourish or deteriorate. Combat, third-person cover focus, gunplay with abilities.
Sounds so fucking fire, bro.
Mass Effect through and through. Bring two companions with you at any time. They can support you by disabling systems, drawing enemy attention, issue real-time commands, etc. If they pull this off, Steel, and they put this all together, this will be the Mass Effect game we've been missing forever since 3. Okay, this will be the next evolution of Mass Effect, of where we thought Andromeda was going to start to go, which didn't happen for a variety of reasons. But this sounds like it, Steel. This sounds like they took Owlcat Games, said, okay, Mass Effect considered one of the greatest trilogies of all freaking time. Everybody's been clamoring for it. EA has been slow. They crushed the fan base with Andromeda. Most people did not enjoy it the way they should have. They've been waiting on this new one. BioWare's not the same company anymore. We're going to come in with the Expanse, which is, again, a grounded reality, already has a built-in fan base show. And we're just going to take the Mass Effect formula, but bring it to modern day. And if they pull this off, so in, bro. So in. This is high on my list now. Yeah,
it's from all the detail that you gave. I mean, I'm playing the trailer in the background for you guys too, so you guys kind of get an additional idea. This is the most recent trailer from Owlcat Games. It came out 2 months ago. I don't think this game is getting talked about enough for sure by people. This is definitely extremely high on my list, especially with these new details that are coming out. Having that level of depth, seeming variety as well that you're going to have, and again, it tying to something that, again, an IP that is in rotation but hasn't had a game necessarily. Well, I think it's had a Telltale kind of game made as well, I think. I could be off on it. Oh, okay, it did.
No,
okay.
The Expanse didn't have that.
So that at least probably gave them a little bit of an idea of, hey, people might be interested in this, and seeing them lean into, again, from everything that I recall from Mass Effect, playing through the Legendary Edition, it sounds extremely enticing. Story standpoint, gameplay standpoint, again, cover-based shooter, sounds really dope, and having the additional elements, again, also having again, that space grounded reality kind of thing going on, right? Yep. Super dope.
And no hand holding too, by the way, with your choices.
Really?
You're not going to get a warning that it's a major choice that you're going
to. Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. You don't. No. You're just going to have to deal with whatever you choose, right? So we've seen a lot of hand holding in these games lately. None, like they're not going to let you know that you're making a critical choice.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
So that means me and you could talk about a certain scenario. You make one choice, I make a different choice. Who knows? There may be multiple choices even beyond that. From what it sounded like, it get completely different experience, and that's just one choice. So,
yeah, they said this one. Oh, this is not in English. Dang it. Anyways, there's an article put out by the Spanish site that brought this up. They said, and basically the post was translated for me. It says, "Are you tired of the little message, quote, this NPC will remember this in RPGs when you make a decision? They're tired of it too, and their game will take a different path." Again, no hand-holding, not letting you know that you're fucking shit up with your relationships,
like that,
or whatever the case may be down the road. Like I said, Steele, if they pull this off, this game is sounding so ambitious. A modern day Mass Effect, but on another level. Again, being able to become a triple agent, like if that's real and they pull it off in a calculating way where you actually
makes sense.
Feel like it makes sense, and it actually feels like
that's going to be. I think we got another hitter. We got another one. I see somebody is one of the first people in this comment section here. It says, so the story was supposed to be a game, became a book. The book became a series, and now the series became a game. We just went full circle.
Yep. Pretty dope.
Super dope to think about, man. So those details were given out this week. I did see that on the timeline. And again, more that I hear about this game, the more that I get interested by it for sure. Can't say enough of that. I think there was something else that we got updated on. I got caught up on watching that that clip that you said. You said the assault class in Battlefield 6 can be equipped with a mobile ladder.
Bro,
it just that's another level. That's another level, dog. Yeah.
You know what people are gonna do. You know the sniper.
They're gonna do dumb shit, bro.
Oh my god.
Because that just opens up another avenue for your teammates.
Right. Correct. Yes.
You're
gonna be able to put spawn or respawn points in weird spots.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be able to, I can already see how this is going to be manipulated. It's going to get toxic. But it's an interesting concept that they're putting in. I'll have fun with it, whatever, for right now. If it becomes over the top, obviously they'll probably adjust it. But just seeing that video, I was like, oh shit, here we go. All right.
Then I guess another quick hitter here. Silksong did get a price update. The game's going to be $20.
Cheap as hell, but bro,
no, it's kind of. I think the first game, people were looking back. The first game was like $15, so they went $5 up.
But Team Cherry, they could have charged for the hype around this game.
They could have charged.
They could have charged 30. They could have
charged. They could have charged 40.
They could charge 40,
and easily, and people would. I don't think people would have second guessed it.
Yeah,
which is super dope. I mean, I was thinking about it earlier. Prices like $15-$20. I mean, that just kind of makes it. Even as somebody who didn't like. Who I'm not gonna say I didn't like Hollow Knight. Even as somebody who didn't get into Hollow Knight like that, seeing prices like that, it makes it really difficult not to just add that to your library, just to have it in the off chance that you end up jumping into it at some point. Again, I'm not into Metrovanias like that. Again, try to be honest about that. So there is that. What else we got in here? I don't think Silent Hill not being a Souls, like we didn't talk about Horizon 6 possibly being in Japan. I think it kind of speaks for itself. This is something that we've been kind of excited about, or just pretty much said that this is the main direction that they can go. I think this is the path of least resistance for them as well, while you're also developing Fable. I think it's easy for you to do a game that's based in Japan. So I mean, I don't have much else to add on to it. I do have a lot of things that I would like for them to do, just as a Forza fan, right? I want Horizon to truly stand among the rest, especially seeing Need for Speed go to the wayside. Some of these other street racers not getting either one attention, or just not developing into products that are getting the attention. So yeah, I think it's dope. I think it's I think it kind of, the story writes itself. I'm not worried about what they do, how well it's going to be done or not. Forza Horizon games have always traditionally been good. I just want them to, add on some additional things that are going to entice more people into it. So, yeah, I mean, I do definitely think that, again, next year is literally lining up to be the Gears Forza Halo year. So,
of course it is. I think there's, there's too much smoke here to say that this probably isn't the deal, and we're going to get it at a Tokyo Game Show. And we've been talking about it here, Steel, for quite a while, what they were going to do with Horizon 6, especially with the extended time that they've taken. Obviously, a lot of their team was working on Fable and helping with Fable too, but they've taken extended time, and why it made sense coming off of Forza Horizon 5's success, and especially now that they put that over on PlayStation, to go where everybody has been asking for them to go, which is Japan. And the question this week, and Mav, we talked about a lot on Thursday, was whether or not this actually, and last week too, but whether or not, Playground actually does do the whole culture with Japan and brings in street racing, something they haven't done, city racing, like you've talked about, no hezi in the traffic and that kind of stuff, if they actually go that route. And I guess I'll reiterate, if I had to put money down now, I believe that's exactly what they're going to do, because Playground has shown throughout all the Horizon series to always respect the culture of wherever they go to. And there is just, the tuner culture started in the East. Yes, you had obviously the European cars, you had rallies throughout the world, especially, in South America and that kind of stuff. You had rallies. In Africa, you had rally, cars. Europe, you had the Euro cars. Here we had American muscle, but in the East, it was the tuners. And why Fast and the Furious became big was because the tuner scene came to America from the East. And over there, they had been doing it already for a decade or more. And it slowly worked its way over here and became a phenomenon. And I think they have to respect that, Steel. They have to respect it. You go watch videos like straight up the Yakuza were involved in the city racing scene in Japan at its peak back in the day. But you go see how they used to race through traffic and playing follow the leader through traffic. And that was like a whole thing. And then, people knew, the traffic would get out of the way, right? And it was just a part of the culture. And then it exploded into car shows and all that kind of stuff. I think that Playground will do this. And I think it'll be a great challenge for them. And to your point, Steel, is the same point I've been making as well. That scene in other racing games has been pretty much left behind. Again, Need for Speed certainly did their thing, tried to bring it back, but EA is now shelving Need for Speed again.
At least for now, yeah.
So we don't have Midnight Club. There was rumors that Rockstar was trying to bring back Midnight Club, but then they lost out in the bidding war to pick up, was it Criterion? No, it wasn't Criterion. It was the other one. Or was it Criterion? Can't remember. They lost out in the bidding war to pick up one of the, no, it was the other, it was the one that did Dirt. Who did Dirt? Who did the Dirt franchise? I can't think of it offhand. Dang it. I always forget who did Dirt.
Let's see. Of course, when you look up who made Dirt racing game, it brings me up fucking Outlaw or some other game.
Of course it does. Dirt.
Oh, Dirt Rally. I guess you should.
5 dev. There we go. Codemasters.
There we go.
Yeah, Codemasters.
Appreciate that, Yobi.
Yeah. They
Much
got
love.
outbid, right? So they got outbid. There was a bidding war supposedly between Rockstar and EA to get Codemasters, and obviously EA bought. And when that happened, a lot of people think that maybe Rockstar is still developing Midnight Club. But again, my original point is all the games that highlighted the tuner scene, that highlighted the aspects of street racing, that highlighted the car show aspect, are now basically gone at this point. And racing's still popular. So Playground has the perfect opportunity to drop in. People have been asking for Need for Speed Underground to come back. People have been asking for Midnight Club to come back. I mean, people have been asking for all this shit to come back. Playground, one of the best in the business at arcade racers, car PGs, they have the perfect opportunity to steal. Will it be a challenge because they haven't done it before? Sure. But they've pulled off every other challenge that they've tried. They pull off great drifting. They pull off great rally racing. Like, they've done it all. Why not street racing? Why not nighttime racing? Why not a city landscape, which they've never really done, a full-fledged city landscape with a freeway system included? Why not now? In Japan, yes, you can still have the extra environments. You can still have Mount Fuji. You can still have the cherry blossom roads. You can still have all of that.
But there's so much more city in this type of setup than has ever existed in Forza Horizon, period, which just leaves such prime real estate for the game to feel completely different in comparison to other games. And maybe they even lean into the modifications more, right? Because I know like Forza always tries to be like official with customers. Nah, let's lean into like bring more Liberty Walk kits. Like,
let's bring in the neon. Let's bring in all the shit, right? Let's bring in all of that. And I trust them to do it still because they are top type. And again, they've wanted to be considered one of the best developers overall in the world. They're going to prove that with Fable when Fable shows up. If it's great game, then they've proven themselves because they went from being just an arcade racing dev to an absolutely making a semi or an open world RPG third person. And I think they've got the talent to do it. And I think they can pull this off easily. I don't think this is going to be that big of a leap for them. I just don't see any way that they don't lean into that culture. I can't imagine them just coming out and basically reskinning Forza Horizon 5, not having cities, playing on the outskirts of Japan at all times, having, a mountain race section with Mount Fuji, having the cherry blossom roads and having all that kind of stuff that you see in Japan, but not having a city, right? Not having Tokyo, not having the neon lights everywhere, not having that whole nighttime racing. I can't see them doing it. Right. So we'll have to wait and see. But if they're going, especially if the rumors are true and they're going to drop the tease or the first announcement at Tokyo Game Show, bro, that's what people over there think of when they think of racing. Like, you're going to have to bring that kind of atmosphere to that announcement. So I see it happening. I see it actually being the things that we've all asked for. And I do think they're going to pull it off. And I think it's going to be a massive scale hit. I think it has the potential, if they do this right, to be beyond Forza Horizon 5, and we had 3-bit on the shop. And of course, PTK asked 3-bit, and if you don't know, 3-bit a while back was working on Fable. Right. He's been public about that. He can't talk about shit, but he's been public about, he worked at, he was working on Fable at one point. That's why we joke and say that he's the cause for all the delays because he ruined everything. But anyway, so the guy knows people at Playground. Okay. And PTK asked him, and if you know 3-bit, the running joke is he's got the worst poker face in the world. And he's got these giggles that he does when we ask him about games that he can't really talk about. Well, PTK asked him about, because we were talking about Forza Horizon 6 and about being set in Japan. He was very careful in choosing his words. And if you know that means 3-bit has seen this game. And, what was funny is he said this, so I'm going to repeat it again. I'm not saying anything beyond what he said, but he brought up the fact that they now, Playground has, after working on Fable, the ability to, create, full-bodied characters now. So that's a cool thing. And they have the ability to, have people walking around in spaces. Like, that's a cool thing because they now worked on Fable. And we were talking about Forza Horizon 6. So just take that for what it is. right? I made up a whole scenario and said, so you're confirming all of this stuff in 3-bit? And of course he was like, no. But it was just, he said that on his own. So I think that we might see a bigger leap than expected, or different, I should say, maybe not a leap, because visually Forza Horizon 5 is absolutely
it's already going to be.
It's already.
I think it's going to be a leap
mechanics wise.
Visually,
we might see mechanics
because of the color palette and everything. I think that's what's going to make it a leap.
In the nighttime, yeah. I think just mechanically they might add some new stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I just won't be surprised if there's more to Forza Horizon 6 in Japan than maybe even some people believe that Playground would tackle. I think there might be some new twists to the Horizon, especially since now we're hearing Motorsport is kind of on hiatus.
They're getting updates, right?
That means they are the racing group, right? That Playground is now the racing group. They are so maybe they add some shit that a lot of people have wondered if they'll ever do, and maybe we get even some bonus stuff that doesn't necessarily have to do with driving in a new Forza Horizon, right? And maybe it's just some cool customization shit that we weren't expecting, or some new ways to interact with our cars that we weren't expecting. I'm just saying, it'd be kind of cool. We'll see. I'm excited for this one though. If it is Japan and they do announce it in Tokyo, and they even come close to leaning into the tuner scene, you know me, Steel. I'm gonna be there. I'm all over this. I'm gonna be knee deep in that. That's gonna be really one of the main games that's gonna keep me away from a lot, right? Put a lot of time into. So I can't see wait to see what the potential is in that. That could also be what sparked some of the Forza Motorsport rumors, or the lack of support for Forza Motorsport as far as long term goes. Could be this transition, along with a lot of different things, other things. So the other thing that I'll throw in there too is Assassin's Creed Mirage is getting a surprise free update set in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be free content post-launch. First AC content set in the Middle East since Origins, funded by Saudi Arabia's PIF. This is global and political. Main beat is... and I don't know if you mentioned, Paul, if you heard me, but Assassin's Creed Mirage is getting a new surprise free update set in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it's dope. Did they give a date?
No, they don't have a date on it or anything that I've seen. Outside of...
What's interesting is Mirage just came into Game Pass. So if that's a free update and that's a free DLC, then if it's still in Game Pass, which I'm assuming it will be, because generally speaking, at least for a bit, title's sitting there for a while. If this, it sounds like it's coming out soon. I didn't get the opinion that it's coming out next year, but maybe. Yeah. But if they launch that means that Game Pass is getting free DLC along with that game, which is pretty dope. I still got to play it. I've got to download it.
Yeah, me too.
I've been playing Syndicate, so I haven't really. I touched Mirage just to get the intro. But if that's the case, then yeah, extra free content for Game Pass users. That's going to be cool as hell. So I can't wait to jump into that game, by the way. So all my Assassin's Creeds. Yep.
What else we got in here? Nintendo holding dev kits. Mentioned that earlier. Mirage. Talking about Silk Song a little bit. Capcom set to show 8 games at Tokyo Game Show. Apparently that's something that's also been happening this week. Tokyo Game Show is set for September 24th. Capcom has an 8 game lined up. Some people are predicting there's going to be an update to Dragon's Dogma 2 and Monster Hunter Wilds. That's kind of an of course. I made a post about Dragon's Dogma 2 because again, I still got Dragon's Dogma 2 as my well, not anymore, but I had it as my, well, no. So I got one as my lock screen, something different as my lock screen, but I still got Dragon's Dogma 2 as my main wallpaper on my phone. That's how impactful that's how dope and impactful.
I made a post a month and a half ago about it, Stu. I reposted some pictures and said, yeah,
I missed that.
Yeah, no, we always miss each other's shit, bro. Whatever, I know. But yeah, no, I had made a post about Dragon's Dogma 2 too, because
it's still one of my memorable games of this generation.
Yeah, but they, you know, the thing is, there've been why I found it funny, because you said that some people are expecting an update or something. They've been doing a lot of interviews with the director. I forget his name off the top of my head of Dragon's Dogma 2 over the past week and a half. He's been in multiple interviews.
Okay.
And I thought it was cool because I had reposted one of them because he said, he was very proud of Dragon's Dogma 2. He's talked about how he's getting older and he doesn't have too many games left per se in him. And so, he's feeling that. But he was proud of Dragon's Dogma 2. And he said, when we made the game, I didn't make the game for everybody to play.
That's fair. I like that. I like you said that.
What, you know how much I appreciate that, Steel.
That's dope.
We're not making games for everybody.
So I heard people complaining about that shit.
Yeah. No, he's like, we made the game that we wanted to make for the people who are going to enjoy it. We did not make it to be a mass appeal game. And I was like, cool, bro, you got my respect even more, because that was exactly what it turned out to be. I'm sad more people didn't enjoy it the way that you and I did per se. But at the same time, I respect the hell out of that. And that's probably why I love that fucking game so much. And that photo mode is one of the best of this generation, bro. And it was limited. They didn't even have a full free roam camera. It was in a bubble, but the action shots that you could get, and some of the most beautiful shots in the world, and that character creator, still one of the best of the generation, hands down, easy. Yeah, some of the most beautiful characters I've ever created through a character creator. And that's saying a lot, because I spent a lot of time in character creation.
Again, even the pawn system, how that worked, interacting with different, just interacting with different characters. Like, and again, I know people knock the story and everything. Like, again, no, it wasn't the strongest story wise. Again, I play Souls games, so you're trying to talk to me about what wasn't the best or convoluted stories, or not getting everything directly told to you, like you were in a Final Fantasy 16 as an example. Again, different games do different things. Again, I do think the performance issues for that game didn't do it any services, right? And I do think even with what we're seeing with Monster Hunter Wild, so you're seeing that open world games with the RE engine are kind of, they need work, right? But again,
they need optimization. They need optimization.
1,000,000% optimization. Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, every time that I think about it, I still to this date, Dragon's Dogma 2 is still one of the most memorable games that I've played so far. It's not even. To me, it's not even. I would put it in the top 5 games of this gen so far. For sure.
Yeah, I'd have to think about it, but it's got to be up there, right? It's definitely got to be up there.
Blake.
So, I don't know what you're going to bring up next, Steel, but I was going to cover Judas real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got new previews of Judas. For anybody who doesn't know, Ken Levine, they launched a new trailer too. Go watch the trailer. Okay, talk about another game, Steel. Like he and Ken Levine was doing interviews too. That's why they got the new preview. He's said, we're not going to tell you a release date until I know I can hit it. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate that, brother. I'd love to hear that it's coming out next year, but if you got to hold, you got to hold. It's been this long. Let's keep going. Again, Ken Levine, in my opinion, is one of the greatest creative minds this industry has had. Again, creator of BioShock, for anybody doesn't know, took all of his influence from System Shock. BioShock, one of the greatest trilogies of all time, in my opinion, yet again. But I love Ken Levine. Now, behind the scenes, there's been stories. He's not the easiest to work with. He's a very eccentric dude.
Hey,
doesn't get along with everybody. I'm telling you, Steel, this is how all the games back in the day were made. These stories were commonplace. Yes, you had studios that all loved each other, but it was commonplace to read in all the magazines or listen to interviews and talk about the fights that people were having behind the scenes to get games made. And again, sleeping on couches, working 18-hour days to get games. That culture created special games, okay? So when I hear this shit, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. We need the old dog still around, man.
Yeah.
And so Ken Levine is making Judas, which is a spiritual successor. Funny that we're talking about spiritual successors to BioShock. We just also got word over the past couple weeks that 2K just delayed their actual BioShock 4 game because they got a team working on BioShock 4, and that's been in production for 6 to 8 years at this point, depending on which one you listen to, which is crazy.
Having some issues as well.
But supposedly the story was so bad that the higher ups, the non-gamer people told them to go back to the drawing board with the story, and they delayed it out till 2027, I think, at least. Whatever. So BioShock 4 is in the same position that like Dragon Age was with BioWare. We've got a name-only kind of situation. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I hope it does. Whatever. We'll wait and see. But the original creator of BioShock, Ken Levine, is making Judas, which I'm sure most people in our chat are aware of, but they got a new preview this week. Some of the details coming about this we were just talking about the Expanse, Osiris Reborn, how my hype level is increased. This right here, Steel, same thing. These two games are going to dominate my mind until their launch, okay? So, Villain, and this comes from Rhino the Bouncer. Not everybody likes Rhino because he is PlayStation pretty much favorite, but whatever. He breaks down posts pretty well, and he does give good information when he breaks stuff down. So, villainy. Actions determine who becomes your friend and who turns into an enemy. Each character has unique abilities against you if they become a villain. Ooh. Every decision alters the course of events and reflects on your relationships with the three main characters.
Ooh.
Combat, hacking, and crafting playstyle is observed by the characters and affects their perception of you.
Oh, okay.
Yo, I'm in trouble. I don't know. I'm in trouble who's going to like me, bro, but whatever. An interactive experience where the character you lose or betray significantly impacts the story and upcoming events.
Oh, damn.
Each playthrough has different outcomes based on your choices and alliances. Judas is inspired by the Nemesis system, Steel, from Shadow of Mordor, with deeper characters and more complex relationships. Yo,
okay,
Steel,
you got me interested now.
It's first person though, Steel. Remember that. It's not third person. You're gonna have to deal with that. The game was tested with real players, and their feedback confirmed trust and betrayal decisions significantly alter the story. The three main characters interact dynamically, assist or abandon you in battles, bribe you with gifts or dangerous secrets, speak against each other to convince you to join their side. You got the AI trying to manipulate us, bro.
That's kind of dope. I like the concept of that.
And again, you can say, yeah, that all sounds great on paper. Let's see. I agree with you. Again, go look at the visuals are looking phenomenal. Again, this is totally BioShock spiritual successor. So go look at the visuals. I agree with you. We got to see this stuff in play.
Yeah.
But if there's a dude who is going to pull it off, it is Ken Levine.
There you go, do it.
He will do it, bro. He will pull this off. Again, he created one of the greatest twists in video game history, probably the greatest twist of all time in video game history in BioShock. Okay? BioShock 1. This man can pull this off, Steel. But I see this and where he's taking this. Again, I can't help myself, Steel. This is all the shit I talk about. Decision consequences playing out majorly. And now you telling me that the characters are going to try to manipulate me to their side by offering me shit. Yo, here we go, Steel. Think about this game 5 years from now with real AI. Like how they're going to be able to incorporate that shit into a style like this. But anyways, I won't get ahead of myself. I can't wait for Judas. I was already hyped because it's Ken Levine and because it's BioShock spiritual successor. But now this is a must play. This will be on my mind till it comes out, Steel.
No, I mean that you just
Nemesis
saying that teasing something akin to that. I mean, that entices me enough. And again, yeah, I mean, I'm not typically the first person dude, but yeah, I do play first person games. It just takes a lot. And again, BioShock, I had mentioned it because on DPS, shout out to Slow Mo and Gaming Forte, they were talking about, BioShock Infinite, and I had mentioned here that, BioShock is something that I didn't jump into until Infinite. In Infinite, I thought it was interesting, but it didn't hold me, right? Okay. It was also at a different time. Other games were coming out. Something else pulled me away. And I was in that, I wrote there a comment under their video. I was like, I played BioShock. It didn't really hold me the way that y'all are describing, but, maybe it's something that I need to try again to see how I'm feeling about it. Again, also coming into a game when it's like the third game in that, in that IP is also kind of, can be kind of weird. But with this one being a newer version of that, modern take, everything that you have mentioned as well. I mean, again, you say Nemesis system, you saying that the AI could possibly manipulate you or just or at least, again, Mass Effect, at least in recent memory, is the only game that I know of that at least of recent memory where it really made me consider the choices that I was making, the relationships that I was chasing, wanting to build out the relationships with my crew members. Again, you know, flushing everything out so that, again, I only heard it from other people, so that when you get to the final mission in Mass Effect 2, that you have as many people or you're able to do everything. And I think that's something that carry on in Mass Effect 3 as well. You did certain things, things would play out differently. When you have that type of input that can be applied from the AI or just your companions overall, and even not even make you double think what you're doing, triple, quadruple, just make you reevaluate the choices that you're making. And that's even crazy and constant to think about, right? That
and they're going to be judging you the whole time too, Steel? They're going to be judging you too?
Akin to Starfield, you know, Starfield does it in a very light way, right? Really light. Nothing nowhere close to what you're describing
this is
here.
Impact.
But that type of level of depth to make you really consider, hey, do I want to keep this person around? What are their morals? Do I need to learn more about this person that I got with me? Who is my squad? It's good. It's going to be really interesting to bring things to a head. So, Boss Mod Lethal Papa coming through and says BioShock is my favorite. Yeah, I'd never played the BioShocks until Infinite. And Infinite kind of, you know, I had a good impression with it, but it didn't keep me. I don't know what pulled me off of it. It's one of those where it's like, I don't recall it being anything negative. It just, I didn't finish it. I don't know why. Maybe that's something I need to play on stream or something like that at some point, just to get people's thoughts or see how I'm feeling and kind of go from there. So, Decado says, I don't know. Overall, Biosphere was top tier, but twist wise, nothing beats the revelation of Revan. You talking about that? I don't think I played any of the Star Wars games that had Revan in it. Was that from KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic? Because I never played Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Decado was mentioned.
I wish
Decado was mentioned. I don't know overall, but BioShock was top tier. But twist wise, nothing beats the revelation of Revan. Yeah, that's KOTOR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never played KOTOR, so.
No, it's I
those are ones I do want them to remake. Like, again, I'm disappointed that the remake or whatever isn't supposedly going the greatest.
We'll see. I hope it does, so you can maybe play it and try it out. Again, it's might be one of those games that you just had to be around that time forever. That just if you weren't around during that time and didn't play it at that time, it's just going to be lost.
It's going to be lost, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I would, Decado, that's it. I still think BioShock is number one for me, but that's probably because of how over the top I was invested. Might have been just a time I was playing
maybe
BioShock.
What was going on? Yeah.
I mean, KOTOR I was certainly invested, but it was a Star Wars game, if that makes sense. So I was playing it like, it was cool, right? And it was certainly mature. But it wasn't hit me the way that BioShock was on another level, like psychologically for me and where it was taking me and my thought process. So maybe that's why. But that one is definitely a big one as well. That was massive. 1 and 2 probably for me, right there. But yeah, I just Steel, what I love about this and hearing this and the Expanse Osiris Reborn is, again, you guys know my criticism of a lot of games this generation have been seemingly written for younger generation, and it just and not in an adult manner. Again, the hand holding and that kind of shit. The fact that we've got 2 examples here of games that sound like they are going to lean heavily into the adult side of things and treat us as adults and like have that impact. That's what gets me super excited. Again, games can be all sorts and they don't all have to be the same. They don't all have to be serious and they don't all have to have top tier writing to still be great games. Like, I don't care. But the fact that we are getting 2 games like this, and one of them coming from a known quantity for me, Ken Levine.
Yeah.
Like from the old school, bro, this gives me a lot of hype and excitement that we're going back, that we're going to start seeing, some people come out with games that actually do resemble story-wise, writing-wise, the older days, but just taking them to a current level with all these added, different mechanics to it that we dreamed about back in the day. We got glimpses of, but to have, AI on a new level. And I think that's what got me excited for the future is when we start talking about Microsoft implementing their custom AI chips into their consoles in the future, and what devs are going to be able to do with that, especially with NPCs. We've talked about this, and open-ended stories just being created on the fly by the AI.
Yeah.
That's what gets me hyped for that kind of shit.
Same.
I can't wait to see where we go. Yep.
Same. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the show. We got to get Pong on out of here. So I want to greatly appreciate y'all for tuning in this week. Again, more of a loose flowing show, but able to cover quite a few different things, get some passion in there about Gears. Again, I mean, even the fact that we were able to do over close to 3 hours with essentially very minimal topics, I think it's impressive enough as it is. But Pong, let the beautiful people know where they can find you and what you got going on, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. And again, it is my fault this week. Again,
You're good.
A lot of weekends are going to be like this on the way out, right? So towards the end of the year and stuff, it might get really crazy around here. So just be expecting this where I just got a lot going on. I don't like to, I'd rather sit here and chill with Steel, trust me, for 4 or 5 hours. And you guys, like, I would much rather continue to hold conversations, but appreciate y'all for coming out here for this, shorter show. Get 3+ hours. I don't know how many places you get it, but anyways, we still had a good time. And again, we did cover a lot of topics, and I think, that's what we benefit from, having this free flowing, and appreciate you all engaging as well. And thank you all for joining us on another beautiful Saturday. Nothing but love and respect to each and every single one of you every single week for doing this and supporting all the other shows that you do. So thank you for being here. And Steel, brother, appreciate you so much, man.
Absolutely, man.
For hopping in here after work, not taking a shower, stinking it up over there, and pulling through, brother. I know. Jesus. I heard your voice and I was like, go take your shower. You couldn't hear me because you didn't have your headphones on. But I was like, dude, go get your shit done. Go take a shower. I get it. And then you were like, nah, I'm just going to stink it up. We're coming in. Oh, okay. All right. But appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Always, man. Nothing but love, brother. So anyways, you guys know how to follow me. Pongso everywhere. Follow me. I'll follow you back. My weeks start on Thursday nights over at the unnamed Fun Speculation, not PM to PM, Thursday night super special speculation show on Thursdays, whatever you want to roll with. We don't care. It's 8:00 PM Eastern time, 7:00 Central time, where me and Mav get together for sure. And then the rest of the family is invited. So whoever can show up, Steele's jumped in there. We have Fuzzy and Jasper last week. It's like, again, whoever shows up. Otherwise, for sure you'll get me and Mav on Thursday nights as we play catch up as well there. And then obviously, Saturday is the living split screen. We're right here back again, God willing, for another show. I forgot to mention tomorrow night because I'm not going to be on there, but I obviously need to mention it. PTK Blam, Fuzzy Belvedere, the Shop Podcast, and this dude right here is going to fill in for me because I am not going to be at the Shop Podcast tomorrow night, but Steel's going to be there. Steel is going to be there. So join the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam's channel. On Sunday, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5:00 Central time is that time zone. It's a beautiful time. I love that time. But yeah, I'm going to be at the family's house, so I will not be home in time. But enjoy the Shop Podcast as well. Otherwise, everybody, it is the golden age of freaking gaming. So please get out there. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great start to your week. Play what you love what you play. And I'll talk to you all real soon. Steel, get us out of here, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, again, like Paul mentioned, I will be on with PTK tomorrow. I believe that's 5:00 Central, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5:00 Central.
It's going to be tough for me, but nonetheless, I'll make it. I told PTK I will, so I'll just have to get to sleep pretty damn early so I can wake up in time, but it should be fun. Again, leads into my final day of the work week, so I'll tough it out, man. But anyway, neither here or there. But like Paul mentioned, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time, living split screen. We're gonna be here rocking and rolling, live on Uncut, home of that RTS View and ECP. And other than that, follow my personal channels, and find me everywhere. Steel Rain, that T is a 7. I currently on my personal channel, pause Wu Chang. The uploads that I was doing on that, and right now there's going to be Night Rain content coming up, but it's just going to be episodes. I'm doing shorter breakdowns of me and my brother's streams of us playing Night Rain as well, for those who are interested in that. And it's the modded version of Night Rain if you're into that. And then whatever other games that I end up putting on that list. I haven't recorded nothing for Gears of War yet, so I did record the gameplay y'all seeing today, not with the intention of like having a purpose for it, but just to have something for people to watch. But nonetheless, we will catch you on the next one, and y'all be safe. And yeah, Decado doing the same thing. We're downloading Destiny Rising, so be on the lookout for that. That might be another thing that's going to be coming to the channel, because I want people to see how we feeling about it live. But anyway, enough of that. See y'all next time. Much love. Peace.
Just one question. What if you miss?